Again, this is northwest of the Kansas City Metro here on Interstate 29. That's where our one tornado warning is right now. And again, this has been confirmed on the ground within the last hour. I want to show you those storm reports here from the National Weather Service, where we've had 3 touchdowns. They were all back on the Kansas side. We had one that was in northern Donovan County. That was at 2:15. We also had one back towards White Cloud, and that was back around 2:09. So we've had 2 touchdown reports, one at 2:09, one at 2:15. It's now 2:40, so it's been a minute, but we've had storm chasers and National Weather Service employees who have reported this touching down. So even if it is lifted, it could easily touch down again as this rotation is tracking towards Graham, Missouri, and likely to pass just to the south of Maryville. So there's several active warnings here. We have one tornado warning right now up in northwestern Missouri, and this is where there's a warm front. Okay, we have a warm front lifting north from Manhattan into northern Missouri up towards Maryville and Grant City, and this is going to be our zone for potential first round of severe weather here this afternoon. Just because the storms are moving away from the Kansas City Metro does not mean that we are done with our severe weather threat. As I take you to a wider view and show you the wide view of Fox 4 satellite and radar, there's a lot more activity off towards the south and several active warnings with a potential severe weather outbreak underway across south Kansas, western Oklahoma, into northern Texas. So all of this activity is heading in our direction. What is in Wichita right now, these are severe thunderstorms that are tracking into our southern counties. So there's several waves here coming through today, and that's what we're going to have to monitor likely through this afternoon and into this evening. Just a quick update off towards the south and west as we watch these storms still say about 60 miles away from our counties and communities from Lawrence to Ottawa to Garnett. There's some severe thunderstorms back towards Emporia. We'll watch those as they come into the southwest side of the Kansas City Metro. And there's also a tornado warning back to the north and west there in Nemaha County, Kansas. Right now, just to the south of Adams, north of Corning, that's pushing towards Brown County. So we'll have to keep an eye on this storm as well. But the reason we're on the air and the one storm we're really tracking here is up between Tarkio and St. Joe. It has just passed through Mound City, heading into southern Nottoway County, and there's a tornado warning there until 3:15. So as we zoom in on this storm, there's a lot of lightning with it. As I put our lightning into motion, again, lightning to me usually indicates that this is a strengthening, healthy supercell and that it will continue to produce a tornado risk. We're going to look at our rotation here at the Fox 4 rotation tracker. It has been intermittent. We haven't seen strong rotation since this storm is back in Hiawatha. So that's why maybe we've not gotten a confirmed report since it was on the ground in White Cloud. It's certainly trying though, and I'm seeing blips of rotation as it's moving through their central Holt County up into southern Nottoway. So we also here at Fox 4 this spring are debuting our new Fox 4 Tornado Predictor. And this continues to show a medium chance of a tornado within the next hour inside this warning from Holt County into Nottoway County. So this certainly is our zone of interest as we go over the next 30 minutes. And we continue to watch this warning. There's no real updates from the National Weather Service. Alex, are you seeing anything coming in on this storm? Maybe any chasers on this?
No, not from what I've seen, okay. But definitely something we're still going to be watching. As Jacob mentioned, this has had a history of producing a tornado, kind of lifting, cycling, and then producing another one, and then lifting again. This thing started just to the southeast of Hiawatha in Brown County, Kansas. It did cross the Missouri River now into Holt County. Again, there is still an updated tornado warning, not an observed tag with this like we have seen in the last several minutes, but a regular tornado warning for the rest of Holt County. That is the northeastern side of Holt County and into southern Nottoway County. Maryville, again, like Jacob mentioned, you are just outside of this, but it is heading very close to you. Again, early heads up in central Nottoway County around Maryville. This goes until 3:15 this afternoon, so we still have another 30 minutes or so. Just to the north and west of this cell, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings for a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, but also a history of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail for southern Atchison County, also over towards western Nottoway County, just northwest of Maryville. So you are getting encircled a little bit in Maryville with a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag to your northwest, a tornado warning that you're just outside of over towards the south and west. Again, lots of heavy rain, probably some of that quarter-sized hailstone and that spinning area of circulation that we're watching, moving away from Mound City to your south and east there in Holt County, heading over towards Graham, not too far away from Skidmore. You're right on that polygon border, and then eventually meandering over towards Maryville. Again, this thing is moving at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. We're also watching this severe thunderstorm warning in northwestern Nottoway County that is producing some wind and hail. There's the circulation that has been cycling back and forth between producing a tornado, then picking it back up, and then producing another one. We're watching this spin, looking out towards the north and east. Here's an updated track on this, heading towards Graham here in the next 4 minutes. Anybody in Graham in southwestern Nottoway County, you need to be in your safe spot right now just to play it safe. Maryville, this could be around you by about 3:09, especially on the south and east side of Maryville here in the next several minutes. Conception Junction, 3:15 on to about Ravenwood, Gentry, and Grant City. That's a little bit later on here in about an hour or so as this thing continues to push out towards the north. Also looks like now we have a second tornado warning. This is for northern and northwestern Nottoway County, just away from Maryville. So 2 different tornado warnings now. We're watching this circulation here pushing out towards Hopkins and Atchison, Missouri. Anybody in Atchison and Hopkins in extreme northern Nottoway County, you need to be in your safe spot as well. As Jacob mentioned, we're going to look at the Fox 4 tornado predictor again. Mound City, Holt County, we're noticing a slight upgrade to a moderate chance at a spin up there. So that would explain the tornado warning as this pushes into Maryville. Looks like we now have an observed tornado warning just outside of our viewing area, just to the west of Brown County into Nemaha County, to the north and west of Corning. So probably something definitely happening there. Again, this is going to be a busy, severe weather day. We're just getting started here early this afternoon. The tornado watches have been expanded into our northern Missouri counties all the way until 9 o'clock this evening. Again, nothing for Kansas City. This is all in northeastern Kansas and northwestern Missouri at this point. We will be watching, though, severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning. This is outside of the viewing area as well, heading towards Emporia, where I-35 and 335 there come together to the south and west. So potentially watch out around Ottawa and Garnett. There could be an additional thunderstorm watch and a tornado watch as well for our southern side, south of I-70. All these thunderstorms go down to Wichita and into Oklahoma. But of course, Jacob, our focus still on northwestern Missouri at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And again, as you mentioned, we now have that new and second tornado warning across northern Missouri. So we're tracking now 2 tornado warnings up in northwestern Missouri. There's also that confirmed tornado that Alex mentioned back in Corning, Kansas. That is heading towards Brown County. So we're starting to get busy along this warm front, which is where we're expecting here our mid-afternoon activity. Our late afternoon activity is going to come from this storm complex in Emporia that's tracking and eventually may reach the south side of the Kansas City metro by later on tonight. So I'm going to get to our newest tornado warning first. This is the one for northern Nottoway County. It includes the towns of Nottoway, Atchison, Missouri, Hopkins, and Pickering. And this tornado warning goes until 3:15. Notice there's a little notch there just to the south of Nottoway. This technically does not include the city of Maryville, northwest Missouri State, just outside of this warning polygon. This is pretty moving quickly up towards the Iowa state line. So we're going to zoom in and look at the winds on this and see where the tightest rotation is. And it looks like it's almost right over the town of Nottoway as we zoom in closer. I think our closest radar going to be here from our National Weather Service EAX radar. Still very far away though. So these winds that we're sampling are very high up. Still though, I'm seeing rotation right over Nottoway, and this is tracking up towards the north and the east at about 30-40 miles per hour. So it's going to be crossing here soon State Highway FF and State Highway B in extreme northern Nottoway County, Missouri. So here's the rotation crossing Missouri or US 71 and 136 right now over Nottoway, Missouri in northern Nottoway County, tracking up towards State Highway B. I'll zoom out and put a storm track on this. This is going to be moving out of our viewing area here pretty soon up into Iowa. Still though, the communities of Hopkins need to take notice. Now is the time to seek your tornado shelter. Still about 30 minutes away from this rotation being over you up near the Iowa border. Areas from Pickering, between Pickering and Atchison in northern Nottoway, you do need to seek your tornado precautions. Again, a reminder, tornado safety place when a tornado warning is issued for you today. You need to go to an interior room of your home or apartment, the lowest level possible. So the goal is to put as many walls between you and outside, no windows, no doors. Hopefully an interior bathroom or closet is that ideal place for you and your family and friends to seek shelter as long as a tornado warning is in effect, and we'll be sure to give you the all clear once the rotation is passed. Nottoway, Missouri, you still need to be practicing your safe precautions. Mound City, Missouri is now in the clear as this rotation is tracking out of Holt County and into southern Nottoway County. This tornado warning also going until 3:15 here. It includes Graham, Maitland, Mound City, Andrew, Holt, and Nottoway counties, and this is about 15 to 2,000 people up here between Mound City and Maryville. So right now this is crossing Missouri Highway 113, and there has been reported touchdowns of this storm within the last hour. It may not be on the ground right now, but if it is not, it could easily touch down at any time, which is why we're watching it closely. Rotation looking a little more broad to me since our most recent radar scans. I'm still going to inquiry and check on our wind rotation here, say 45, 15 miles per hour, 55 to 60 miles per hour of rotation, possibly enough to form a brief funnel cloud or a brief tornado touchdown. This is right along Missouri 113 highway where it turns north, going away from Mound City and up towards Maitland, and about to cross here from Holt County into Nottoway County. Northern Andrew County really not seeing a tornado threat unless you live maybe way north of Fillmore by about 5 minutes or so. So this storm tracking up towards the north and east also at about 30 miles per hour. And I'll put a storm track on this as well. So again, our rotation here is between Maitland and Mound City, tracking up towards the north at 30 miles per hour. If this holds together, Maryville, maybe in about 30 minutes, Conception Junction closer to 40 minutes. We'll continue to watch this rotation as it moves up towards the north. So we don't have any confirmed reports on this storm that I'm seeing. I do want to look at our StormNet tornado predictor here from Fox 4. That has increased a little bit since our last update here. We get these updates every few minutes. So again, would not be surprised if this storm is cycling and we do get another touchdown in Nottoway County here within the next couple of minutes. Our current rotation tracker is not seeing extreme rotation. What is piquing my interest is back off here to the west. Moving out of Nemaha into Brown County, Kansas, just north of Wetmore, south of Sabetha, heading towards Hiawatha. This is a confirmed tornado, very tight rotation we can see on our rotation tracker. If that holds together, that could be nearing Troy and maybe Savannah, Missouri here within the next 1 to 2 hours. So that's going to be a storm to watch as well. We're going to continue to watch all of these storms. Again, I wanted to take a wider view before Alex continues to track these storms for us. Down here in the Kansas City metro, right now there is no severe weather threat. There is a tornado watch that goes until 9 p.m. here this evening for the metro. Currently, our severe weather threat is mainly confined to a warm front, and that warm front is lifting through Concordia and northern Missouri and Maryville. We've got a cold front way back here to the west of Salina. So a warm front is our current trigger point. This cold front in the warm sector out here from Topeka to Wichita, we have more severe thunderstorms forming. Those will eventually head in our direction. And a wider view here of our current watches and warnings show that we certainly have a lot of activity with several severe thunderstorms, a confirmed tornado in northern Oklahoma, a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch for Oklahoma City. So all of this activity is tracking north and east, which is why our threat really has not even quite yet begun here in the Kansas City metro. Still some ongoing storms in northwest Missouri, so I'll toss it back over to you, Alex, for updates on those.
All right, Jacob, again, just before 3 o'clock, we're still watching northwestern Missouri, as Jacob mentioned, away from Kansas City. 2 different tornado warnings, mainly in Nottoway County. This warning, this is for the northern portion of the northern storm until 3:15 for Atchison, Burlington Junction, Hopkins, as well in northern Nottoway County. This secondary warning, not too far away from Maryville, that was originally coming out of Brown County and Holt County. Now a lot of Holt County, you are in the clear, but we still have a history of that cell south of Maryville producing a tornado. Lots of heavy rain, lots of lightning right now in eastern Holt County, southwestern Nottoway County. Here's 71 Highway and here's the town of Maryville. You're probably seeing some thunder and lightning in Maryville right now, some light rainfall currently, but there's going to be some heavier rain, possibly some quarter-sized hail, possibly some wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour, and also this rotating thunderstorm. We can see that couplet where the greens and reds are right next to each other. We have wind going toward Kansas City on the green side and away from Kansas City on the red side. That's where we have some counterclockwise circulation, possibly a tornado somewhere in that circled area. We put a track on this heading towards the northeast, roughly at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So this thing is moving a little bit, about to cross 71 highway here in the next, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes, onto Conception Junction as we head towards about 3:20 this afternoon. So this is on track to move to the south and east of Maryville. But if you know anybody south and east of Maryville, you need to let them know that this thing is coming and they need to be getting to the lowest level of their home away from windows. On to Ravenwood by about 3:26, maybe Oxford and Gentry a little bit later on this afternoon after about 3:30 or so. So here in about the next half an hour. We're also watching again this northern warning, so 2 different warnings in Nottoway County. This northern one, not terribly far away from Atchison, Missouri, from Pickering along Missouri 148. This track, again to the north and east, roughly at about 30 miles an hour, heading towards Hopkins and then crossing the state line into Iowa away from our viewing area. Hopkins, this could be around you by about 3:06. Again, a rotating thunderstorm. Haven't seen a history of that cell in the northern portions of Nottoway County producing a tornado just yet, but it could over the next several minutes. Again, 2 different warnings we're watching out of Nottoway County, some additional severe thunderstorms, and again, now back into Brown County. This is a new update, a confirmed tornado warning for a cell coming out of Corning, Kansas, south of Seneca. This is heading right into Hiawatha, technically outside of our viewing area, but very close to Doniphan County. And again, in Holt County, we may see another tornado come on through Holt County here very soon. Right now, a warning just for Brown County on the Kansas side. Again, we showed you this. The tornado watch expanded into the northern half of our viewing area until late this evening and down towards the south and west across I-35 as you head out towards Wichita. A better look at this confirmed tornado warning, probably looking at something right in here just to the west of Powhatan, to the southwest of Hiawatha. There has been an observed tornado with this. This tornado warning in Brown County goes until 3 o'clock this afternoon. So anyone heading towards Hiawatha or around Hiawatha, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Kansas City, Missouri, we are clear. We're mostly cloudy right now. Temperatures are very warm, but we don't have any storms around. That is mainly going on in central and southern Kansas. Right over Emporia, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. That's just a couple of counties away from Ottawa, Kansas, towards the east. So we'll be watching these cells and more that are gaining quite a bit of strength and moving from Oklahoma back into Kansas, especially west of Kansas City. Again, these are the current stats that we have now. 1 tornado warning for northern Nottoway County until 3:15. A second one south of Maryville. So Maryville, you need to be in your safe spot as well. Also a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag that goes until 3 o'clock. Jacob, any updates from the National Weather Service?
Well, the one update that you mentioned was that a new confirmed tornado warning back in Brown County. I'm really watching this storm closely here, moving in out of Holton into Nottoway. And that is where I'm seeing a tightening rotation. Now, our Fox 4 tornado predictor within the last 10 minutes has increased those storm chances for southern Nottoway, and I'm kind of seeing that now here on our rotation predictor on our velocity mode. I want to zoom in here again. We are between Mound City down here, which is now in the clear, and Maryville, Missouri. Now, again, south of Maitland here, we have now crossed out of Holt County into southwestern Nottoway County. Rotation has gone up here within the last couple of radar updates. And as I click on our wind speeds here, I think we should be able to see that pretty easily, as I'm now seeing, say, 60-mile-per-hour winds and 25-mile-per-hour winds. And when we add that together, we're getting 85-mile-per-hour rotation here just to the south of Maitland and Skidmore, Missouri. So this is our strongest rotation right now across southern Nottoway County. This tornado warning goes until 3:15, and I would not be surprised here at any moment if this is not on the ground. It could touch down at any moment because our wind speeds are increasing in this storm, and this is continuing to move through a potential favorable environment for tornadoes across northern Missouri along the warm front. Now, I want to briefly check our debris mode. I don't think we're going to see anything this far north. We would need to see exactly blue or yellow lowering right over where we're seeing rotation, and I'm not seeing that right now. As I, again, go back to our velocity mode and circle the rotation, that is continuing to increase in my mind, Alex, and I think we might, it might be on the ground here soon. As I look here and go from there to our debris mode, I'm not seeing much. But when we look at the Fox 4 rotation tracker, that has gone up here a little bit within the last few moments, They're south of Maitland here. These blue blips on radar. I know it doesn't look like much, but that is where there is very tight rotation in these storms, and this is tracking up towards the north. So I want to continue to put a storm track on this where the tornado would be. It's going to move south of Maryville, I think. Conception Junction, really the next community in line for this. However, if you live in southern Nottoway County, this is going to be crossing 71 Highway within the next 10 minutes. Make sure that you are in your tornado safe place. If you live between Maitland and Conception Junction, if you live south of Maryville, north of Balco, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. We have a tornado warning. This could touch down at any moment if it's not on the ground already as it's moving up towards the north and east. And when we look at our radar here, our reflectivity, comes the new scan, and I'm seeing that little notch. So typically what we're looking for here on our reflectivity, the rain mode, is I see possibly a little hail core up here in the pink and reds, and then the actual rotation would be where the notch is, where we're getting inflow into the storm, and then the rain cooled air from behind the storm, and that core is coming in from the behind, and that's where we get rotation here. And if there's a tornado, it would be right here on the Andrew and Nottoway County lines, moving from Maitland to the 71 Highway corridor. So this is not confirmed by the National Weather Service. I would not be surprised, though, if it's on the ground. We still have another tornado warning to the north side of Maryville. So there's 2 Nottoway County tornado warnings right now. Busy time up here in northern Missouri. 3:15 as well as the expiration for this. Right now, this is moving towards Hopkins and into Iowa within the next couple of moments. So currently, it looks like Maryville, we might see both of these storms go around Maryville. Alex, are you seeing anything back there?
That's a secondary tornado warning farther west of the now Brown County warning in the Nemaha, northern or eastern Marshall County, Kansas.
Yep.
Farther out towards the north, Jacob.
And so the issue is as I was highlighting this warm front that we have across northeastern Kansas and northwestern Missouri, this is where we can get supercells essentially that will train and go behind each other and go line in line again. So again, this is the second storm in Nottoway, the third storm here coming in from Hiawatha. There's a fourth possible tornadic circulation. So once the tornado or potential tornado moves through your neighborhood here in northern Kansas, northern Missouri, you're not in the clear. We have supercells here tracking along the warm front that continue to move up here to the north and east, and they could go over these same locations. Brown County, Kansas, within the last hour has had a confirmed touchdown. Now they have another supercell that is trying to produce a tornado and another supercell behind that. So that's kind of the activity that we have on the way for us as we go over the next couple of hours. We continue to watch these 2 tornado warnings in northern Missouri, Nottoway County specifically, and I want to keep an eye on this storm south of Maryville, north of Savannah, because the rotation remains pretty moderate in my eyes. And we've been watching this between Maitland, near the community of Graham and Balclo. And I'm just going to zoom in here to our street levels and show you the winds, which is how we can estimate the wind rotation here. And so this has maybe dropped slightly from the last update. Remember, we were at 85 miles per hour. Now this is closer to 70 miles per hour rotation. Still though, this now, the tornado, if there's on the ground in Nottoway County, would be at State Highway H and State Highway A. So Broadway Street coming east of Maitland, heading towards 71 Highway there, just north of Mackenzie Street. So this is the zone. Tornado safe room right now, please, if you are not already there in southern Nottoway County. This could be touching down here any moment. It has been reported on the ground several times in the past, this storm within the last hour. Generally, as I put a forecast track on this storm for us, it's moving up towards the north and east here, 30 miles per hour. Conception Junction, really kind of the next populated town that is there. We also have these communities, though, between Maitland and Conception Junction in southern Nottoway County. That's where we need to be in our tornado safe places currently. So again, a wider view here of Fox 4 radar showing the line of tornadic storms we have across northeastern Kansas and northwest Missouri. There is severe weather down towards Emporia, damaging winds. That line is approaching Ottawa and Garnett, and we're going to continue to monitor those storms as they get closer. Right now, I'm not seeing a tornado threat with this, but we will see how this unfolds as it moves north, maybe closer to the warm front, and also further east into a little more wind shear at the surface where winds are coming out of the more due south. I wanted to show you kind of what we're working with today. This is our instability here, this bright yellow, almost white color. This is the extreme storm fuel that we have in place from Oklahoma into Kansas, all the way here into Missouri. And the blue is where we have a cap or a lid on the atmosphere that would generally prevent severe weather. So there's no cap or lid in place across the KC Metro, northern Missouri. We just have a lot of instability. The storms that are now entering our area are wide open and will likely try to produce tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail, also a threat in these storms. We're continuing to watch several areas of rotation for tornado warnings, the strongest of which right now is entering Brown County, nearing Hiawatha. That was on the ground a few moments ago. And I'm still seeing decent rotation here in southern Nottoway County as well, south of Maryville, due east of Mound City, about to cross 71 Highway. And Alex, you're also tracking these storms. Are there any updates from the National Weather Service in northern Missouri?
There was a few minutes ago a report of a wall cloud around Graham.
Okay.
That was in southwestern Nottoway County, again with that warning south and west of Maryville. So as Jacob was mentioning, two different warned storms in Nottoway County at this point as we head towards 3:05 now. Plenty of heavy rainfall, some lightning in Maryville right now. The center of circulation that we're watching connected with this tornado warning that is now east of Graham, where we have dark reds and pinks on Fox 4 radar. That is the potential for probably some quarter-sized hailstones, maybe something a little bit larger, right at the intersection of State Highway A and State Highway H that Jacob was highlighting there a little while ago. This is heading towards 71 Highway. Here it is right here, just south of Maryville. Anyone along 71 Highway south of Maryville, you need to be in your safe spot. You're seeing the heavy rainfall now, hearing and seeing lots of thunder and lightning. And of course, we're noticing that area of circulation that has had a history of producing a couple of different touchdowns, a couple of different tornadoes, where we have the greens and reds right next to each other. That area is highlighted and the track pushing towards the north and east. Here's Maryville right here. You are outside of that tornado track for right now in Maryville, but again, just anyone south of Maryville along 71 Highway, you are in the path of this. Heading towards Conception Junction first by about 3:23 here in under 20 minutes, potentially crossing over 71 Highway here in about 5 to 10 minutes. So that is a very late heads up for those of you down towards the south in Maryville. Hopefully those of you in Maryville are already in your safe spot just to be on the safer side if this thing takes a northerly jog. As this continues to push out towards the north and east, Ravenwood, you're going to be next in line around 3:29, over into Worth County, around Grant City towards the end of this track by about 3:54. If this does hold together. We're also watching the northern storm that is also tornado warned. This thing is almost out of the viewing area, but is bearing down on Hopkins right now with some heavy rain, probably some hail, and of course that circulation that we are watching as well. Here's the Iowa line. Here's Hopkins. You're about to see some additional oranges and reds come into your town there in Hopkins in northern Nottoway County. That is indicative of more heavy rain and probably some hailstones there. We're watching this little circulation that looks a little bit muddy at this point, but there still could be something trying to produce a tornado or at least a rotating storm just to the south and west of Hopkins. That's heading to you right around 3:10. So outside of these two tornado warnings, we also have an additional severe thunderstorm warning that includes northern Holt County, southeastern Atchison County, also back into western Nottoway County. That does include Maryville. Maryville, you are included in this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a darker yellow polygon, so this has a tornado possible tag with it as we continue to see just supercell after supercell moving over very similar areas as Jake was mentioning. This is back towards the west. We are in northeastern Kansas now, Hiawatha, Kansas, farther west along 36 Highway towards Seneca and on to Marysville. Marysville is farther out towards the west of this, but we have a couple of different tornado warnings. This one in Brown County over Hiawatha was observed at one point, now just a regular tornado warning. So whatever was observed looks like it had lifted at this point, but there are still, again, a couple of supercells that could be producing something else moving back into Brown County. Putting a track on this, Hiawatha, you're going to be next in line if you know anybody around Hiawatha or around north central Brown County. They need to be in their safe spot. Hiawatha by about 3:18. This is heading towards you, potentially crossing the Missouri River once again and moving back into Holt County, Forest City, Mound City, Richville, Missouri. This could be heading towards you after 3:45 this afternoon, so we have some time there. This is farther back towards the west, Marshall County, Kansas into Nemaha. We're watching that additional warning as well. Nothing farther east, nothing around Albany, King City, and the I-35 corridor as of right now, but we are under that tornado watch. We're also watching extended thunderstorms deeper into central southern Kansas. There are severe thunderstorm warnings in Emporia right now. That is very slowly pushing out towards the north and northeast, up the interstate towards Topeka, maybe back into northeastern Kansas here over the next several minutes. So a lot going on. Jacob, we're still going to keep eyes on a couple of those warnings in Nottoway County.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And I just got a report from our partners up in Nottoway County saying that they are seeing rotation at 340th Street and Highway 71, which is this rotation here in southern Nottoway that we've been tracking for you. And this is the one that I said probably looked the strongest in my eyes of our current tornado warning. So again, this is passing just south of Maryville, probably heading towards Conception Junction. And eventually, I think we're going to see the National Weather Service probably extend this warning downstream, maybe eventually over towards Worth and Gentry County within the next, say, 15 minutes. So I want to do a kind of an early heads up as this rotation holds together. It's been holding together for at least the last hour. Downstream, here's kind of where we're headed. Conception Junction around 3:30, 3:40. Ravenwood by 3:45, and then we're kind of into Worth and Gentry. So Gentry just after 4 o'clock, Grant City 4:15 or so, if this rotation and supercell hold together and continue to track to the northeast as it's been doing for the last 2 hours. So we're going to watch this storm. This is kind of the one to watch here this afternoon in northern Missouri. Here's the current tornado warning polygon. It is south of Maryville, east of Maitland Graham. We had a wall cloud report and now getting rotation along Highway 71. And I'm going to zoom now into our street level view because 340th Street is where we were getting reports of possible rotation here across northern Missouri. So there's 350th. So that would be just to the north, I would assume, yes. So 340th is right there.
It looks like, Jacob, it looks like they extended that warning to include Maryville on the northern edge, and this goes all the way into Worth and Gentry County now.
Okay, yeah, so I was just mentioning that possibility that we'd see this warning issue downstream, and that's what we're seeing now. This is tight rotation, in my opinion, here about to cross Highway 71. We have storm chasers on this storm in southern Nottoway County giving us ground reports, and they say rotation is increased here as it's approaching 71 Highway between Savannah and Maryville. So as we zoom in, I'm going to click on our wind speeds. Now remember, in the last 10 minutes or so, that wind speed was about 65, 70 miles per hour. Let's see where we're at now. We're at about 60 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, so that's up to 90 miles per hour. So this is now kind of the highest wind rotation that we've been seeing in this storm as we've been tracking it here for you this afternoon. Again, we're in northwest Missouri, Nottoway County. This is where we have a possible tornado about to touch down here. State Highway A, 350th Street, 340th Street, and 71 Highway there. Eventually towards East Main Street, just to the west of Conception Junction, north of McKenzie Street, heading up through southern Nottoway County. So that's the possible rotation and tornado that we're going to assume may be touching down any moment. Again, Maryville, you're on the northern fringe of this tornado warning, and Guilford on southern Nottoway County on the southern fringe. This really is heading right towards Conception Junction. So if you live in Conception Junction, friends, family, colleagues in Conception Junction, Ravenwood, kind of in this zone here, give them a call. Say there's a tornadic circulation that could be producing a tornado that's going to arrive in the next 10 to 20 minutes. Tornado precautions are what we need to be doing here in southern Nottoway County now. That is getting inside, ending the outdoor activities, going to an interior room or basement if you have one. If you do not have a basement, it would be an interior closet or bathroom most likely. The goal is no windows or doors to put as many walls between you and outside as possible. Now this rotation continues to look tight to me here south of Maryville, moving towards Consumption Junction. We are so far away here in Nottoway County from our radar site that is in Pleasant Hill down in Cass County that it is going to be very hard, and we'd have to see an extreme tornado to see debris on Fox 4 radar. We're not seeing that right now, but just because we do not see debris on Fox 4 radar does not mean there's not a tornado on the ground as this rotation continues to look very healthy and strong just south of Maryville heading towards Conception Junction. So this is the rotation we're watching. It is crossing 71 Highway now, and it is arriving in Conception Junction here say within the next 20 minutes maximum. This has been moving about 30 miles per hour, so kind of a slower moving cell here on the warm front. But this is the rotating storm. This is the possible tornado that we are keeping an eye on in Nottoway County. Our Fox 4 rotation tracker still showing the ebbs and flows in that possible rotation here across Nottoway County as it moved out of Holt. And this is heading towards Consumption Junction and Ravenwood. Still, this is our one tornado warning. We're tracking other ones as well. The one up in northern Nottoway County, it looks like has been removed as the storm has now moved into Iowa and weekend. We're keeping an eye back towards Hiawatha. I don't think this is a confirmed tornado right now, but it is certainly looking healthy with strong rotation again right there moving on 36 Highway. Coming into Hiawatha from the west side there in Brown County. So this is also a possible tornado in Brown County, Kansas. That's right outside of our viewing area. If you have friends in Hiawatha, make sure that they are still seeking that tornado precaution. The one zone, though, that I am still watching up there is in Nottoway County. Again, in the Kansas City metro, there's no activity, no severe weather right now. We're up in northwestern Missouri tracking this storm. And the rotation is signifying that a tornado is possible here at any moment, south of Maryville and Consumption Junction. And it looks like it has gone up here within the last moments. We're looking towards the middle of this supercell storm, so it's hard to know exactly what's going on at the surface. But we're getting 35, 65 mile per hour winds going in opposite directions. And just like when you rub your hands in opposite directions, if you put a pencil there and it starts to rotate, that's exactly what's happening here up in Nottoway. So these reds are moving north, the greens are moving south, and then the tornado would be right over 71 Highway moving towards Consumption Junction. So again, southern Nottoway County, seek your safe place now as we have a possible tornado on the ground here at 71 Highway, 330th or 530th Street, Main Street, East Main Street. It's north of McKenzie Street and about to track here along 136 Highway that heads towards Consumption Junction. So this is our rotation. It's heading through southern Nottoway County. Alex, do we have any updates from the National Weather Service on this storm?
No, it doesn't look like it over the last couple of minutes. So we're going to continue to monitor this situation as these warnings. One has dropped off over Hopkins, but we're obviously still watching the one that does include Maryville. As Jacob was highlighting there, that center of circulation right on 71 Highway right now due south of Maryville, Missouri. Anybody along 71 needs to already be in your safe spot. Again, Conception Junction, Ravenwood, you're going to be next in line. Folks along 136 Highway in Nottoway County out to the east and southeast of Maryville. This polygon does also stretch into Gentry County. This is Stanberry over towards southwestern and western portions of Worth County, right next to the Iowa line. Plenty of heavy rainfall, probably some quarter-size hail, maybe some higher gusts around 50 to 65 miles an hour possible around Maryville right now. Again, you're probably hearing the sirens all around Maryville and Nottoway County. That is now for this cell to the south of Maryville. You can kind of see the circulation that Jacob was highlighting. It has grown, it has weakened, and now grown again. That circled portion south of Maryville right on 71 Highway. Tracking towards the north and east, still around 30 to 35 miles an hour. Conception Junction here in about 10 minutes, Ravenwood 3:30 in 15 minutes, and then if it does hold together, more than likely heading into northern Gentry County and southern Worth County along that section of 169 between about Albany and Grant City, potentially around the Grant City area by about 3:55 this afternoon. So here in about 35 minutes or so. Then back towards the west, as Jacob was mentioning, these supercells are riding along a warm front, creating some spin, that warm front is, and turning these supercells into some tornado-warned storms. This one, an additional warning for Brown County, areas that have already seen a tornado warning about an hour ago since we've been on the air. This one, moving into Hiawatha, away from our viewing area, but just about to cross to the north and west of Hiawatha. Also an additional warning for Nemaha County. That is just outside of our viewing area as well. We'll put a track on the one not too far away from Hiawatha. No reports of anything right now. We're noticing a weak couplet. There is some greens and reds right next to each other, indicating that turning motion in the thunderstorm. But as Jacob mentioned, we are well away from this and not getting a very clear picture as to what's going on near the ground. This is tracking towards the north and east. potentially going right back into Holt County, where we had some additional confirmed tornado reports about an hour ago. White Cloud, Kansas by 3:41, Forest City, Mound City as we head towards 3:49 to 3:55. So that's something we're going to watch out for. We're going to watch out for this warned cell as well, coming from Nemaha County, potentially back into Hiawatha and maybe again into Holt County. All these thunderstorms right on the front. Farther down towards the south in the warm sector, we have plenty of moisture, plenty of storm energy, potentially just plain old rain around White City, Kansas. Same thing around Manhattan. A severe warned storm, just a severe thunderstorm warning now north of Emporia, also north of Eureka, Kansas. These are the thunderstorms that are going to try to move over towards Kansas City up I-35. That will more than likely happen as we head towards the very end of the day, the late afternoon and evening. Over the last 30 minutes, we've noticed this cell as well on the Missouri side of things now. This is Johnson County, Missouri. Nothing with this as far as severe thunderstorm warnings, but it is coming into Warrensburg. We are keeping an eye on this as it moves from Warrensburg in Johnson County, Missouri, over towards Concordia in Lafayette County. The main focus as of right now, still this severe thunderstorm warning over the next 30 minutes or so for areas south and east of Maryville in Nottoway County, Conception Junction, Ravenwood, and over towards Gentry and Worth County, Jacob.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Alex. So we're still watching this rotation, and the National Weather Service here just communicating with us that this remains a tight rotation. There are spotters on this that are seeing funnels, wall clouds. So again, it could touch down here at any moment. And it's not far from Maryville. As I put a distance tracker on this from Maryville south, it's 5 miles to the south of the city. We do have our camera from Northwest Missouri State. Here's what that view looks like. Look at that lightning flash that we just saw. So very electric storm up here. The trees kind of blowing in the winds. The heaviest part of this storm is just to the south of Maryville, but Maryville remains under a tornado warning until 4 o'clock. So again, Northwest Missouri State, hopefully people are staying inside in the town of Maryville as well as this tornado warning continues to pass just to your south. So back here to Fox 4 radar, it's passing south of Maryville here, crossing 71 Highway, moving towards Ravenwood and Conception Junction. And our wind speeds here remain to be pretty strong. And so I'm watching this again. We're in the mid levels of this storm from our radar site down in Pleasant Hill, and the wind speeds here remain pretty healthy and likely to produce a tornado here at any time. So 35 miles per hour, 30 mile per hour winds, 65 miles per hour here up in southern Nottoway County. Generally, maybe this has dropped a few miles per hour in the last couple of minutes. Still, though, a potential for a touchdown here at any moment as this nears Conception Junction. Our rotation tracker showing that if there was a tornado, it has now crossed 71 Highway here in southern Nottoway County, heading towards 136 Highway. So this is the main tornadic circulation we're watching right now. There is a northern tornado warning back in Brown County, Kansas, and that is another storm that we're going to be watching as it moves towards Holt County once again. So this is the activity we have. Again, a wider view showing 3 tornado warnings: Nemaha, Brown County, Kansas, Nottoway, Grant, and Worth counties in northern Missouri. Maryville, there's a severe thunderstorm moving in that may have some weak circulation. For the Kansas City Metro, the orange box here is our tornado watch. That goes until 9 o'clock. But we have no storms here currently nearby. We're watching storms coming in from the southwest that may arrive here, say, within the next couple of hours. So we're still watching. I'm watching this storm too that may be approaching Maryville proper, and there's some weak circulation on this. I don't think there's an extreme tornado threat, but the National Weather Service said there could be a possible spin up along this storm that's coming into Maryville. I think that is where that would be. The main circulation, though, is south of the city, heading into Conception Junction. Maybe we can take the Maryville camera again. I'm just curious to see what the skies are looking like up in Nottoway County here. More flashes of lightning. You can kind of see that the dark clouds there as lightning's moving in. The winds don't look to be too strong. The trees actually looking relatively calm currently, maybe off in the distance, some stronger winds. A very electric storm. Rain looks to be moderate right now, but again, Maryville not quite at the center of this storm. I think that's just off towards the south and east by maybe about 5 miles heading into Conception Junction. So I'm going to put another storm track on this storm for us as this is moving towards Worth and Gentry counties. Grant City and Gentry possibly eventually seeing this storm here. So Conception Junction within the next maybe 10 minutes. I think this is sped up maybe just a little bit. I'll put it on the leading edge so we can give you a good heads up here. Conception Junction maybe 10-15 minutes. Ravenwood at about 15-20 minutes. Gentry around 4 o'clock. Grant City around 4:15 if this storm holds together. It's been rotating for a while. It touched down a tornado back in Brown County, Kansas, and we've been tracking it now for at least an hour and a half where it's had a tornado warning on it, and it may continue to stay tornado warned until it gets out of our area as it moves all the way up towards the Iowa border. Again, we have this interesting setup today where there's a warm front north of the Kansas City metro, and that's what these supercells are firing along, and they're kind of training. And when we say training, we mean that they are lined up like train cars. There's the engine, and there's the coal car, there's the passenger car, and there's the caboose. So they're all going in the same direction, the same speed, which means that in one location, say if you stay in Holt County, well, Storm 1 comes by, Storm 2 comes by, Storm 3 comes by, so you're not out of the severe weather threat after one storm passes you, like sometimes we might expect or assume here. So this warm front, several training thunderstorms, they're trying to produce tornadoes and have produced tornadoes. Our storm reports here from the last 3 hours, I want to zoom in on those and show you where we've had confirmed tornado reports, mainly back across Nemaha and Brown counties. This is the tornado report that has now moved up into Nottoway County, and it looks like there's now just been a funnel reported there just towards the north and west of Horton and western Brown County. So we're watching this storm, the National Weather Service keeping an eye on it. If this holds together, we might see a warning issued downstream into Holt County pretty soon. So we're still watching these two storms coming in from Kansas. The current active tornado warning is in Nottoway County. Alex, you're keeping tabs on that storm.
Yeah, that's right, Jacob. As you mentioned, several different warnings, plenty of activity. Northeast Kansas, northwestern Missouri, away from the Kansas City metro, but we're still helping out our friends up towards the north and west. We're still watching this tornado warning. The center of circulation now crossing 71 highway. The heaviest of the rain, the strongest of those biggest of the hailstones, now to the south and east of Maryville. Still lots of heavy rain, lightning, pretty chaotic situation in Nottoway County, more than likely, especially on the eastern side of that county. This tornado warning out until 4 o'clock for Conception Junction, over towards Stanberry and Gentry County, and then up into Worth County, not too far away from Grant City. So those of you around Grant City, Allendale, Missouri, that is out on the eastern side of Worth County, early heads up for you as this moving storm starts to push out towards the north and east. Plenty of heavy rain, probably some hail in the center of that circulation that has been tightening up and then resetting itself and then tightening again right along State Highway F, Main Street off of 71 Highway towards Conception Junction. Here's Conception Junction right there. There's also an Abbey not too far away towards the south, right at this bend in 136, Highway 136. So those of you around the Abbey need to be in your safe spot right now as this strong tornadic storm is just out to your north and west. This is heading out towards the northeast. Again, really hasn't slowed down or sped up too much, right around 30 miles an hour or so, passing potentially just to the north of Conception Junction, right in between Ravenwood and that town along 136 over the next several minutes, heading towards Oxford by about 3:43. You need to be in your safe spot for essentially anyone in eastern Nottoway County and into Oxford, Grant City, potentially over towards Hatfield, but that's going to be a while, especially as we head past 4 p.m. as if this thing does hold together. A couple of other warnings. It's still pretty busy and still pretty loud just outside of the viewing area in northeastern Kansas. Brown County, north of Hiawatha, there is a tornado warning there until 4 o'clock for some radar indicated rotation. This thing was a confirmed tornado at one point, so this storm does have a history of producing something. You can see the circulation a little bit weaker, but there are still some reds and greens there, so probably some sort of rotation just to the north and west of Hiawatha, potentially coming back into Holt County. a county that has already seen their fair share of tornado reports and warnings over the past hour and a half or so. White Cloud, Kansas, this circulation is heading towards you right around 342, Forest City by 350, and then deeper into Holt County. We're also watching the warning in Nemaha County, not too far away from 36 Highway there. That's farther out towards the west, and at this point, still outside of our viewing area. Our tornado predictor still on the low to moderate side as far as predicting a tornado anywhere in this blue shade over the next hour or so. Back towards Hiawatha, the chances are a little bit higher underneath that tornado warning, so we'll be watching what's coming out of Brown County and moving back into the I-29 corridor around Holt County. Big picture, away from Kansas City, we're looking towards northwestern Missouri, northeast Kansas with these series of severe thunderstorm warnings. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that just dropped off for Maryville, so that's some good news there, but you still have a tornado warning on the south and east side of Maryville. Looks like that Nemaha County tornado warning dropped off as well, and we still have the Brown County warning too. Farther down towards the south and west, we're watching plenty of thunderstorms that are warned. Severe thunderstorm warnings around Madison, Kansas, Emporia, Kansas, in the tornado watch as well that goes until the evening. We'll be watching this activity coming out of Oklahoma into southern Kansas over the next several hours, but this is away from Garnett. It's away from Ottawa. It's away from Douglas County at this point. Plenty of heavy rainfall, probably some quarter-sized hail, some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts at least in those warned storms. We're also watching a couple of areas of development that have been sparking up over the past half hour. This is on the Missouri side now. Maybe a downpour, a thunderstorm moving through Warrensburg along 50 Highway, possibly a sprinkle on the northeastern side. This is Chillicothe, Missouri, also heading mainly away from the viewing area, potentially clipping northwestern Linn County. So heads up northwestern Linn County. As of this point, non-severe rain on the Missouri side right now. Jacob, the focus is northwestern Missouri.
Yeah, it's just this one tornado warning really that we're watching nearing Conception Junction. And our colleagues and partners up at the Emergency Management in Ottawa County saying that they are watching rotation here near Highway AH. Here's Highway AH south of Conception Junction and 136 Highway or VV that comes in just south of Conception Junction. So there's Guilford. Maryville is up here, and it's already past 71 Highway. So this is still in Nottoway County, heading towards 136 Highway in Conception Junction. So again, if there's a tornado, it's going to be moving into Conception Junction within the next few minutes. Conception Junction, if you live near Conception Junction, you need to be in your tornado safe place. That's an interior room, no outdoor windows or doors, just until this storm passes, and we'll let you know when you're in the all clear. It looks like southwestern Nottoway County is in the all clear if you live west of 71 for now. We're still watching those several storms again lined up and training. As Alex had been showing you, we're watching the storm back in Hiawatha. Right now, it looks like that rotation may be weakening. There's been some funnel reports on it though, so we'll see if the National Weather Service extends that into a tornado warning across the Missouri River into Holt County or maybe Donovan County there in northeastern Kansas. So we're watching these storms again, everything generally north of St. Joe now. The metro's just fine here as we take a wider view of our Fox 4 radar. So again, warm front up in northern Missouri. That's where we have our severe thunderstorms in activity. Further south, we're starting to watch, and again, our partners at National Weather Service Topeka saying that Hiawatha storm may be weakening a little bit as well. So this is a good trend, and we hopefully will see those both continue to weaken. What we've still got in store, though, is down in southern Kansas, okay? So this is Emporia down to Wichita. Coming out of Ponca City, Oklahoma, heading towards Chanute, we have two tornado warnings, one of which is confirmed near Cedarvale and Winfield, Kansas. That's down near the Oklahoma border. So we're going to watch these storms as they eventually track, say, towards Garnett, Miami County, Harrisonville on the south side of the metro. So that's still several hours away. So maybe by 6, 7 p.m., that could pose a tornado risk for us on the south side coming in from the southwest, which is where we still have that potential for severe weather. Our severe weather risk today is pretty substantial. Here's what the Storm Prediction Center has in place. A level 3 risk for most of eastern and northern Missouri, or western Missouri, eastern central Kansas here in the level 3 risk, southeastern Kansas into Oklahoma and a level 4 moderate severe weather risk. And we still have a tornado watch that's in place for the north side of the Kansas City metro into northern Missouri. This tornado watch goes until 9 o'clock for everybody. Again, I think that we will probably see new watches come down the pipeline later this afternoon as those storms maybe near and approach our southern communities. So that's going to be something that I'm keeping an eye on as well. So the tornado watch in effect for the metro till 9 o'clock. Currently, there's no threats here in the metro. We do have one tornado warning, and that is up in northern Missouri, up just towards the south of Maryville. So as we zoom back up into this storm and get an update on the rotation, again, this tornado warning goes until 4 o'clock, so 30 more minutes heading into Gentry and Worth counties, Missouri. Right now, the strongest lightning, the heaviest rotation near Conception Junction, and there's also been a hail threat with this. And I wanted to show you the hail core that we have moving through Conception Junction right now, just south of Maryville and just south of 136 highway. So this is the hail core, and it looks like the highest numbers there are severe. The yellow is severe level hail. That is quarter to, say, golf ball size hail that is crossing State Highway N, State Highway F, heading towards Conception Junction and maybe Ravenwood as well. So typically we have a hail core, and then on the south of the hail core is where we have the inflow to the storm, where there's rotation. So we have the hail core up to the north, rotation to the south. The good news is that this looks pretty messy, in my opinion. So here's our hail core in the dark reds. If there's going to be rotation, it is right about here, approaching Conception Junction. And we look at our wind mode here on Fox 4 radar. That is about where we're seeing it. And the wind, the rotation has maybe weakened a little bit. I would say this is more broad. Typically, we need to see for a tornado the reds and greens right next to each other. See how they're separated by this pixel, these gray pixel rows. So that is good news. It means there's broad rotation, but it may not be reaching the ground here at this time. So still tornado precautions in safe places in Ravenwood and Conception Junction along 136 highway just towards the east and southeast of Maryville. But overall, our tornado threat remains possible at this point. We've not had a confirmation on the ground for a minute, though the National Weather Service continues the tornado warning for Gentry, Nottoway, and Worth counties until 4 o'clock. And it also has the potential for up to that golf ball sized hail that I was just showing you in the hail core. So that's one thing that we're watching as well. Our rotation tracker, again, remember, was a little stronger back, say, towards 71 highway. This is where we have the continuous blues. So that's where we may have had a brief touchdown. We had some rotation, wall cloud, funnel reports. Now, Fox 4 rotation tracker not picking up on as strong rotation near Conception Junction. There's still that tornado warning in effect. And again, the tornado polygon now does include places like Oxford there, Stanbury, Gentry, here into the corners of Worth and Gentry County. So Conception Junction, the rotation would be right in Conception Junction and moving towards Ravenwood. If it holds together, it could near Worth and Gentry within the next hour, and so that's a threat and trend we're going to watch as we continue to watch. This is kind of our lone tornado warning. Alex, do you have any more updates for us?
There was reports coming out of Conception Junction. Missouri Highway Patrol had a trooper up there, and he did notice a funnel cloud west of Conception Junction, trying to reach the ground, but it was still kind of bouncing back and forth between that cloud base and the ground. So we'll be watching for maybe a touchdown. As Jacob mentioned, our rotation tracker did have something farther towards the south and west in Nottoway County. Not so much, though, as this is trying to split between Conception Junction and Ravenwood along this north-south section of 136 highway in eastern Nottoway County. We do still have the tornado warning. It's been trimmed up a little bit, still including eastern Nottoway County, northwestern Gentry County, and southwestern Worth County. Again, an early heads up for those of you in Grant City. You're probably hearing the sirens go off in portions of Worth County right now. This warning out till 4 o'clock. We'll see what happens after that, but still all the reds indicating the heavy rain. There is the potential for some quarter-size hailstones or larger that Jacob was highlighting in the dark reds, potentially something right over Conception Junction and Conception Abbey here over the next couple of minutes. So a loud situation still ongoing in Nottoway County in northwestern Missouri. This thing is still moving out towards the north and east. There's the couplet that's been kind of looking less impressive and then more impressive over the last couple of minutes. Maybe a funnel in there on the north and now western side of Conception Junction. Still lots of heavy rain connected with this as well. Spinning out towards the north and east at around 30 miles an hour, heading towards Oxford, just to the south of Ravenwood first. Oxford by around 347, and then on to potentially the south side of Grant City in Worth County by 4 o'clock this afternoon, here in about 20 minutes. So those of you in Worth County, heads up. We are still watching this tornado warning as well for northeastern Brown County. This may cross the river and back into Holt County again. At the same time, eastern Holt County, not too far away from Maryville, there is still a pretty strong thunderstorm, even though the tornado threat is starting to move away from Maryville, Missouri. Maybe a severe thunderstorm warning to the south and west there for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. It's definitely been allowed last couple of hours across northwestern Missouri, as we've been noticing these several rounds of supercells, of severe thunderstorms. This circulation, of course, attached to the warning in Hiawatha and Brown County, really not that impressive. This thing has been weakening over the past 15 to 30 minutes. We'll continue to watch this. Again, moving out towards the north and east, potentially into Holt County. Our tornado predictor has started to decrease in some areas, slightly increase in other areas, just to the south and east of Maryville. Notice those yellows. That's a moderate chance at potentially a tornado there, with the warning heading into Worth, heading into Gentry County over the next several minutes. Lots of watch boxes, though, for northern and the northwestern portions of the viewing area, even 65 highway from Chillicothe up towards Trenton, Spickard, and even over towards Princeton in Mercer County. Farther down towards the south and west, we're still going to be watching this blob of rain, really steady rainfall for quite a few of us, especially towards the west and southwest of Emporia. There are a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. That's mainly along the Kansas-Oklahoma border. How this activity moves towards the north and east along I-35 and into Kansas City, we'll have to wait and see, but we are expecting some louder storms by the evening in the metro, where we are dry right now. Watching a couple of other cells, this thing has started to fall apart, moving through Warrensburg, Missouri, crossing 50 highway towards I-70. It's leaving Johnson County, maybe a sprinkle there, maybe a sprinkle as well around Chillicothe. It looks like things are relatively quiet on the Missouri side, Jacob, outside of the northwestern corner. Yeah, really, the warm front is kind of that activation zone that we're watching for these early and mid-afternoon thunderstorms. And the Storm Prediction Center here has just issued an update that I wanted to read off an update for folks at home, and it looks like that was for northwestern Missouri maybe, or maybe we didn't get a severe weather update. Maybe that was for Oklahoma. So we're going to keep an eye on these storms up here along the warm front. Again, we still have two warnings. Our colleagues at the Weather Service saying that this Hiawatha storm, even though it produced a tornado back in Nemaha, has weakened a little bit. So hopefully that trend will continue. We still have this warning that when you look at it, looks still very healthy. We have a lot of lightning. Notice, though, in the last couple of scans here, we've seen some of this contamination, if you will, of the inflow. Typically, for a healthy storm, the storm kind of needs to have untapped air to the south that it can pull into. So this storm is getting in air from the south. And in the last several scans, look at the rain that's popped up. A very moisture-filled atmosphere, which is why we have that flood threat here through the weekend. But this is contaminating a little bit the air that's able to reach inside this storm. Now, it may be able to modify its structure here to continue a rotating updraft, but that's just something that I'm keeping an eye on here. Still, regardless, tornado warning for Conception Junction, Ravenwood, and extreme northwestern and southwestern parts of Worth and Gentry counties here. This goes until 4 o'clock, so about 15 more minutes. We'll see how this trends. I think the National Weather Service is going to wait a few more scans to see if rotation continues in this storm before they extend the warning downstream. If the warning goes downstream, Gentry, the cities of Gentry, Worth, and Grant City will probably be included as well. Again, the rotation here is likely near Ravenwood, between Conception Junction and Ravenwood. Here it is. And I'm going to click on our wind speed so that we can see and kind of estimate the rotation here. Again, we're looking in the mid-levels of the storm. Still, though, 40 miles per hour here towards the south. These greens are heading towards the radar at Pleasant Hill. The reds are heading away from the radar in Pleasant Hill. That's how we get rotation. Winds going in opposite directions at fast speeds
tend to cause rotation here. So say 40 miles per hour south, 30 north, that's 60 to 70 mile per hour rotation here between Conception Junction and Ravenwood. Those wind numbers there changed because we got a new scan in. But if there's a tornado, that's going to be where it's going to be between Ravenwood and Conception Junction as this moves up. Although the rotation here in this last scan maybe even has decreased a little more. So we hope that this trend continues.
Jacob.
Yes.
Looks like they canceled the warning for Brown County, Kansas on the eastern side, trying to push into Holt County.
Okay, great. So yeah, so this warning, there was a tornado warning back north of Hiawatha that has been canceled or dropped here. And so now the one tornado warning we have here is Nottoway, Worth, and Gentry counties until 4 o'clock. So we'll see if this continues to trend downward. The rotation has been weakening somewhat. I do want to zoom in on a rotation tracker and just check in on this storm. Again, the rotation was strongest back across southern Nottoway, and it has kind of lost that a little bit, say within the last 15 minutes. Still, again, we have storm chasers here in Missouri and Kansas. We have great storm chasers, great emergency management, and our sheriff's department, fire departments, they all do such a good job. When there are warnings, they act as our eyes on the ground. And again, I want to thank them for that. We have our friends in Nottoway County that are watching this, and they have seen rotation. They have reported to us when they've seen brief funnels or wall clouds. They'll let us know when a tornado touches down. It is still possible up here between Ravenwood and Conception Junction, but we'll know when it's on the ground within a couple of minutes, I think. Right now, that does not look to be the case based on our wind field. So again, we have people watching this storm, our public servants up there in northern Missouri keeping a close eye on this. Really, rotation, though, has weakened. As I loop this even, look at this. Back when it was near, say, Mound City and Maitland, see the bright greens and reds we had across southwestern Nottoway County? That is where we possibly had a brief touchdown, and that's where we're getting the funnel cloud and reports there, just to the east of Maitland. We're seeing nothing like that now near Conception Junction. So this has really fizzled out, and I was showing you the contamination of that inflow. That may have been a key thing, which has been good to weaken the rotation in this storm. So we've gone from 90 mile per hour rotation to 30 mile per hour, really broad rotation. So this is a good trend to see. Hopefully they might even, our friends at the National Weather Service in Kansas City might even be able to cancel this warning early if this trend continues. It goes until 4, so maybe they want to see 1 or 2 more scans before they drop this warning. Right now though, it continues to weaken. So we're going to watch this warning. Alex, let me know if they give any more updates on that warning up in Nottoway. Okay. But for now, we're watching the wide view here of storms along the warm front. These triggered several tornadoes and some hail reports across northeastern Kansas and northwest Missouri. And right now in the Kansas City metro, we are still dry. There's been some storms trying to form off to the east, Bramer down towards Warrensburg. They're not really being successful here, and actually the severe weather risk from our Osage City and Emporia storms moving towards Ottawa has gone down as well. We'll watch these tornadoes, though, still on the ground down near Arkansas City, Ponca City, Oklahoma, Salt Springs, Atlanta, South Kansas, Wichita, heading towards Chanute and Eureka. We'll keep an eye on these. If they hold together eventually, say closer to 6, 7 o'clock, they could near our areas on the south side of Kansas City. So that's kind of what's coming down the pipeline. Again, there's this zone of storms. So it's a complex setup here. And we have this warm front up across northern Missouri and northern Kansas. And then we also have a cold front that is streaking off down through Oklahoma. So that's triggering the storms. We have a low pressure back near Colby and Hayes. And so here is where we're seeing the, say, best environment for tornadoes from Oklahoma City to Wichita. We're going to have to see if those storms are going to head in our direction later on this evening. So that's the big question mark. If they hold together, what their strength is, are they messy? Are they more organized? We're going to see, and that's why our tornado watch goes until 9 o'clock, and that's why we say our severe weather threat probably is going to go till 1 to 2 a.m. This morning. Real quick, before we get over to Alex for radar, I do want to show you our latest microcast radar to show what the storms could look like through the afternoon. Storms in northern Missouri moving away, storms from South Kansas moving in. There's 6, 7 o'clock. We could see a squall line here in the Kansas City metro with damaging winds. Maybe an embedded spin up. This to me looks more like a significant wind event. There's 9 o'clock. So it could get messy once again this evening in the metro with strong storms that may move out of here by early tomorrow morning. So that's the threat we'll continue to watch. For radar right now, I'll send it back over to you, Alex.
All right, Jacob, just before 4 o'clock, we really only have the one tornado warning. Things starting to trend down a little bit, as Jacob mentioned just a few minutes ago. We are still watching, though, eastern Nottoway County. Plenty of heavy rain, some probable quarter-sized hail. There is an additional severe thunderstorm warning that was out there southwest of Maryville. Now, still tracking this tornado warning until 4 p.m. eastern Nottoway County, northwestern Gentry County, southwestern Worth County. As we head over towards Grant City, this could potentially make it all the way over towards Worth County. Lots of heavy rain in between Conception Junction and Ravenwood along this section of 136 highway, where we have the darker reds. That's where we have the best chance of hail. And we were talking about that circulation that has been trending down over the last several radar scans, and that still looks to be the case. Not exactly bright reds and bright greens right next to each other, just to the south and west of Ravenwood, but there is still something out there. We're going to continue to watch this here for at least the next 10 minutes, pushing out towards the north and east around Grant City. This is probably the next big town in line outside of Ravenwood. Grant City heading to you right around 4:08 before it tries to cross the state line into southern Iowa. Everybody else farther down towards the south, St. Joe, you're seeing a downpour right now. This cell has actually grown a little bit in northern Buchanan County, southern Andrew County. We'll be watching this as it moves towards the north and northeast, trying to maybe connect with some additional cells deeper into northwestern Missouri. So we're watching out for that. Here are some storm reports over the last 2 hours or so. These tornado reports were confirmed, for eastern Hiawatha and eastern Brown County. This was as we were coming on the air, and also some additional tornado reports just outside of the viewing area here over the last several minutes. Again, we're going to watch this downpour right over St. Joe, probably quite a bit of lightning with this, and it does look like it's building a little bit over the last several minutes. Again, Nottoway County watching that tornado warning as well. Our tornado predictor continuing to trend down as well. Not as many yellows and oranges indicating a moderate or high chance of a spin up, kind of on the lower side of things. We're going to continue to watch, though, that circulation in eastern Nottoway County. As far as additional severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, we really only have the one, Jacob, so we're starting to notice things trend down just a little bit more. Obviously, we're still watching what's going on, though. A very loud situation, central eastern Kansas down into southeast Kansas. Still away from the viewing area, but plenty of messy storms away from Kansas City.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. So really kind of the one storm that we're still staying on here this afternoon for you is up across extreme northern Missouri. So again, here at Fox 4, we care about all of our outlying areas. We had people watching us last night from Appleton City with a confirmed tornado down in Bates County, way south of Kansas City. Today, we've had confirmed tornadoes up in Hiawatha, Mound City, way north of Kansas City. So we're going to watch and monitor and track tornado warnings for you here live on Fox 4 as long as they're in effect. And so we're going to watch this storm until it dissipates or weakens enough to where the National Weather Service feels that they can drop the warning. Now, right now, there's still a lot of lightning here in Conception Junction and Ravenwood as this tornado warning goes for, say, another 8 minutes. It looks like I just got an update from the National Weather Service, and they are seeing, as I've been mentioning here, that rotation is weakening. So hopefully they'll be able to let this expire at 4 o'clock. I do want to look at the hail in this storm because that is still a decent threat. It looks like the hail size has probably gone down. Usually I look for yellows on our Fox 4 hail tracker for severe hail. Still, though, we could be getting nickel size hail with this along 136 Highway, 46 Highway near Ravenwood and Conception Junction. Again, this is about to cross from Nottoway into Gentry County. Far southwestern Worth County, Missouri, also included in this warning until 4 o'clock. As I go over to our wind mode to still monitor for rotation, well, it looks like it might have gone back up a little bit here from Conception Junction. Notice we had rotation weaken. Now maybe it looks a little stronger, a little more broad. Hopefully that trend doesn't continue. We'll watch this, though. but it looks like now the broad mesocyclone, again, we're looking in the mid-levels of the atmosphere here, is still trying to rotate as it moves into northern Gentry County. So if this holds together, Worth and Gentry, this possible storm here that may end up producing a tornado is still about, say, 20 minutes away, but it's about time to think about what you can do, where you can go for your tornado safe place if this warning is extended downstream, and we'll monitor that closely here. Our Fox 4 rotation tracker, not seeing much, and again, Alex was just showing you our Fox 4 tornado predictor, kind of our new and exclusive product here on Fox 4 this spring to show you the trend of if there is a higher or lower chance for a tornado out of storms across both Kansas and Missouri. Right now, it seems to be a lower chance than we saw earlier. We had some yellows and oranges, now mostly blues. So that's a lower chance, but it's not zero. And there's still this tornado warning in effect. So we're going to continue to monitor this closely. So there's the tornado warning again, and continuing here for about 5 more minutes until 4 o'clock. And we'll see, I think we might get a severe thunderstorm warning downstream for Worth and Gentry County, mainly for hail. Damaging winds also possible with this. There's a lot of lightning in the storm. And that's one of my concerns still is looking like when we see this amount of lightning, to me it shows that this is still a pretty healthy supercell and may still try to cycle. As I get kind of a count on this, over 300 lightning strikes in the last 30 minutes just across Worth, Gentry, and Ottaway County. So that's pretty impressive for this one thunderstorm complex. And again, we're watching this rotation because it may have been trying to increase or organize. We are still looking very high up in the atmosphere at this storm, so it's hard to get a great read on what's happening at the surface, but certainly still the potential for some strong winds. And I'm just going to click on these so we can get an estimate. Okay, yeah, so 55 miles per hour north, 35 miles per hour south. That gives us, when we do the simple math here, about 80, 90 mile per hour rotation. Again, in the mid-levels, that's still kind of broad. I'm not seeing tight rotation next to each other, but that's certainly a trend we need to keep an eye on as this heads towards Gentry and Worth. Any updates, Alex, from the National Weather Service on that?
They are looking at that cell that was around Ravenwood. They're considering dropping the tornado warning and just going with a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tag after 4 o'clock, so here in the next 4 minutes, but of course we're going to keep an eye on that one. Yeah. They're also still watching that rotating cell coming out of Brown County into Donovan County, maybe a little enhanced rotation around White Cloud, Kansas. That's right on the Missouri River, trying to go back into Holt County.
Okay, yeah, so let's zoom in on the rotation down there in White Cloud, Atchison, and Holt counties. Yeah, I can see a little bit of rotation there near White Cloud. This is actually exactly where we had the storm report of the tornado earlier. And I can click on that and show you. This was back in White Cloud around 2:15. We had a tornado on the ground. So that was, almost 2 hours ago now. But that's kind of what kick-started our warnings here this afternoon, was with a storm chaser, a National Weather Service employee, watching that storm. So we'll keep an eye on that storm as it comes into Holt County. Still watching this storm as it moves into Gentry, southern Worth counties. It looks like it may be trying to reorganize here a little bit. Remember earlier I was kind of showing you the rotation and how it was kind of getting influenced by the rain coming in from the south, which was possibly contaminating the inflow there a little bit. Those rain showers, they've dissipated. We're not seeing as much moisture pulled into this storm. So it might be trying to get a little healthier of a rotation in this. So that's a trend we'll have to watch. If it's trending upwards again, maybe organizing a little bit more rotation. Still, though, it is kind of broad in my eyes here. And it looks like, there we go, so the National Weather Service has kind of issued a severe thunderstorm warning downstream. And so I'll query that for us and see what they have to say about this storm. They're going to say that there's a tornado possible with this storm in Gentry and Worth counties. This goes until 4:45. So Worth and Gentry, Albany, Missouri, included in this severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45. There's also the potential for some hail with this storm, maybe up to quarter size. So we'll watch for the rotation here, but at 4 o'clock, when this tornado warning is dropped, we should hopefully be able to take a break from tracking storms here for you, as everything will have hopefully gone below tornado warning limits. So we're going to keep an eye, one last check here on the warning and the rotation here near between kind of Ravenwood and Worth. If there's going to be weak rotation, it's right here on Gentry-Nottoway Road, which turns there into State Highway O, south of Oxford, south of Parnell, just passing through Ravenwood across into Gentry County. So we'll watch this rotation. Again, it's relatively weak compared to what it was doing earlier back in southern Nottoway County. Our latest rotation tracker has actually increased that rotation just a little bit recently here, as I was showing you. So we're going to continue to watch this storm and make sure that it doesn't strengthen or re-strengthen or recycle into possibly producing another tornado. We're keeping an eye on storms back towards the west. That's an interesting storm too near St. Joe there. Kind of has a little kidney bean shape to it. I'm curious what the velocity or our wind mode looks on that. Relatively weak right now, but that's going to be something to keep an eye on, I think, here as it moves up towards the north and east, say towards Maysville, Missouri here in a little bit. And some more storms forming back over towards Chillicothe. So we're going to keep an eye on all of those. There's still more non-severe storms heading into Lawrence, Ottawa, Garnett. Nothing severe here and no indications that that will become severe anytime soon. There are still tornado warnings south down towards Cedarvale, north of Ponca City, south of El Dorado, Eureka, that will eventually head towards Chanute, Iola, and Garnett. So we'll watch these storms for later on this evening. Right now, though, it looks like that the tornado risk has ended for northwestern Missouri. We're going to continue to keep an eye on these storms behind the scene. Alex and I will watch these storms. Joe Lauria also coming in this evening to watch storms. And we'll continue to give you updates here through the evening as needed. And of course, tonight on Fox 4 News at 9 to 10. And we'll break back in if there's more severe weather to let you know about. But for now, we'll send you back to regular programming. Okay, so we're back with you here. It's 4:13 now, and this storm that we had been watching for you across northern Missouri has recycled, and the National Weather Service has reissued a new tornado warning for parts of northern Missouri. This is not in the Kansas City metro, but kind of north of 36 Highway, and this is up for here Worth, Gentry, and Harrison counties until 4:45. So there's a possible rotation right over Gentry right now. And we had storm spotters up in Gentry County tell us that there was a rotating funnel cloud just south of Gentry. So we're watching rotation closely here as this storm has kind of intensified, say, in the last 10 minutes since when we left you. So I want to zoom in here into Gentry. Right over Gentry is where we have this possible rotation. And this is pretty tight rotation now with strong winds as I query these for you and show you that winds now say are looking at 50 miles per hour to the north, 25 miles per hour to the south, and that's giving us about 75 mile per hour rotation in this storm, 75 mile per hour rotation to the north. So this is pretty strong rotation up here near Gentry along 169 Highway. Moving towards State Highway N. So this is where there could be a possible tornado right over the town of Gentry. Gentry, Missouri, please take your tornado precautions now. You need to go to an interior room, lowest level of your home, away from exterior windows and doors, because there could be a tornado touchdown here at any moment, as this new tornado warning is now in effect until 4:45. So there's the storm, and what I'm noticing and was noticing behind the scenes here on our reflectivity or rain mode is this notch. Okay, this is where we're getting some healthy inflow, some drier air that's actually being wrapped into this, and then it's rotating on the southern edge of this storm. And the rain cooled air coming in that's falling, maybe a hail core over Worth is dropping hail and rain, and that rain cooled air almost acts as a mini cold front that allows this to form a low pressure right over Gentry and start to rotate. So our rotation tracker likely showing some intensifying rotation. There it is, right over Gentry County here and the town of Gentry, by the way. Martinsville, New Hampton, Missouri included in this tornado warning, and the severe thunderstorm that could produce a tornado is just now crossing 169 Highway. So again, here up in Gentry County, 169 Highway, that's where we have the possible tornado here right now. The National Weather Service saw tight rotation and has reissued this warning. And again, even though we are looking here in the mid upper levels, and now it looks like we have a confirmed tornado here in Gentry. So we now have a confirmed tornado warning in Gentry County, Missouri. This tornado is on the ground. And what I was going to say is that even though this radar is looking into the mid-levels of this thunderstorm, these are very bright colors, very strong rotation, and so I'm not surprised that this is reaching the ground. I'm going to query these again for us, and yes, they're widely spaced, but this shows the intensity here. We're looking at 70 miles per hour north, 40 miles per hour south. That's 110 mile per hour rotation, which is easily the strongest of anything that we have seen so far this afternoon. So again, a possible tornado, or a confirmed tornado rather, is on the ground just to the east of Gentry. So here is Gentry, Missouri, right along State Highway N and just past 169 Highway. This is the tornado. It's heading towards Wayman Church Road, State Highway C, and State Highway FF. So this is where the tornado is on the ground. Again, we have a confirmed tornado right here in Gentry, Missouri, tracking towards Martinsville. So if you live between Gentry and Martinsville, please seek your tornado precautions. We have a confirmed tornado right now here just to the south of Gentry, and there is the rotation. We have rotation just now over Highway N and moving towards State Highway C. Siloam Springs here north of Albany, Missouri on Highway C. If you live along Highway C between Albany and Denver, please seek shelter. We have a tornado on the ground here that has just moved through Gentry and tracking towards Martinville. So this is a tornado warning. The National Weather Service saying that this is on the ground, or at least our partners in northern Missouri saying that this is on the ground. And there is now the pink flashing polygon indicating that this is a confirmed tornado. So this tornado warning goes until 4:45, Gentry and Harrison counties here in northern Missouri until 4:45. Again, a confirmed tornado now here just to the east of Gentry, Missouri. So this is passed over 169 Highway. It is moving off towards the east here at about 30 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a storm track on this for us so that we can get the latest ETAs downstream of this warning. So here is the confirmed tornado. Excuse me, this is our first confirmed tornado in northern Missouri. We had some in Kansas and northern Missouri. Here's the ETAs. Siloam Springs here at 4:22. Martinsville at 4:30, so not a lot of time to seek shelter and go to your tornado safe place. Again, that's an interior room, lowest level of your home, away from exterior windows and doors. Tracking over State Highway C right now and going to near State Highway EE here pretty soon. Alex, Countee also tracking this storm. Alex, what are you seeing on radar?
Yeah, a very similar thing that you were tracking here just a few seconds ago. This now observed tornado warning for Gentry County. Still a lot of heavy rainfall and even some hail, by the way. That's in Worth County. We're still watching out for this tornado warning over the next several minutes. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that is also connected to that confirmed tornado warning, important until 4:45. We are watching the tornado warning. That also goes until 4:45 for Gentry County. About 92 people affected by this as we move over the next about 30 minutes or so. Jacob was highlighting the center of circulation probably somewhere right in here east of Gentry along State Highway N. This is also about to cross Highway C and run parallel potentially to Highway Y, leaving Gentry County and moving out towards I-35. So that would be around Harrison County, southwestern Harrison County. You are going to be next in line for this, south of Eagleville along that section of I-35. We take a look at the spin, the velocity imagery. Of course, this is what prompted the tornado warning initially a few minutes ago. Bright reds and even yellows right next to bright greens. That's where we have that tight circulation, something on the ground there. So if you are around Martinsville or just north and west of Martinsville in Gentry County, you need to be in your safe spot right now. This thing is heading towards you, towards the east and northeast, roughly at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. 4:30 ETA there, so you have about 10 minutes for Martinsville and areas just north and west of Martinsville to get in your safe spot. Eventually going over into Harrison County, Brookline, Parkland, Eagleville potentially over the next several minutes. Gardner, Missouri as well around 4:44. Eagleville by 4:47 on to about Canesville as we head towards about 5:02 this evening. Other storms that we are watching just to the south and west of this confirmed tornado storm now. This is King City. We have plenty of heavy rainfall coming up to you in a couple of additional cells. Again, this is northwestern Missouri, also back now south of Maryville once again and along 71 Highway. This is a severe thunderstorm warning just behind the tornado warning. There is a tornado possible tag along with this. Look at the radar loop. Over the last hour or so, we have additional cells firing now along 36 Highway. Nothing severe with these cells moving through Cameron, Hamilton, Chillicothe, some light rainfall where 36 Highway and 65 Highway come together in Livingston County. This is all moving towards that Gallatin, Coffee, Trenton, Spickard area. We're also watching the tornado predictor start to become a little bit darker with the blues there with that confirmed tornado warning. Obviously, that's something that we're continuing to track on the ground right now as that continues to push out towards the east and northeast. Outside of that warning, outside of the additional severe thunderstorm warnings, we have two of them in Gentry County, southern Worth County, back towards northern Andrew County, southern Nottoway County once again. We're still watching the potential for potentially other severe warned storms and tornado warned storms, Jacob, over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, so we're watching the rotation of this one confirmed tornado warning right now, and I've seen it go up and go down, and we've seen it now cycle back up, which is why it's touched down here. Again, I was telling you earlier this afternoon, we have a great network of emergency management, sheriff, fire people here across all of Missouri and Kansas, and they do a great job of being our eyes on the ground in these severe weather situations, and they are the ones who confirmed to us that near Gentry and just to the east of 169 Highway that there has been a tornado touchdown. So that is the storm we are tracking for you right now. Here it is. Again, this is across northern Missouri here, northern Gentry, southern Worth into Harrison County. This could move up towards Interstate 35 here if it holds together in the next 30 minutes or so. Right now, this warning goes until 4:45. It's an observed tornado. Gentry, the town of Gentry, right along 169 Highway, I think has now been passed by the storm. The rotation is just to the south of Denver and near Siloam Springs and Martinsville. So that's where the storm is right now. This is the tight rotation. Just a couple of scans ago, though, look, the winds were a little higher. Those brighter colors have gone down just a little bit. So that's a trend I'll watch. We're going to assume this is still on the ground because our emergency partners up there are saying it is, but it may be trying to lift or weaken, and hopefully that is the trend. But as we've seen, this tornado has been kind of touching up and then down and back up again, and it may cycle up and down as it continues to track across northern Missouri. Right now, checking on our wind speeds up here, again, probably down. Last 5 minutes ago, we saw 110 mile per hour rotation. This is now closer to 85 mile per hour rotation right over Siloam Springs here, just south of Denver. Right now, it is kind of heading towards Martinsville and State Highway EE. This is also the county line here from Gentry into Harrison County. So this is the rotation that we're watching, and to keep a close eye on this and to kind of clean things up, I'm going to turn on our rotation tracker and zoom in to show you where this tornado would be if it is on the ground right now. So let's go back over here to our wind mode, which might be a little bit more up to date. I'll circle this for you here. Right there would be the tornado if it's on the ground still. It is paralleling State Highway FF and State Highway Y that runs from Gentry into Harrison County. And the tornado has just passed over Highway C. So we have Siloam Springs, there's Martinsville. It is about to cross State Highway EE here in extreme western Harrison County. So this is the tornado. There's the wider view. So we have Maryville back over towards our west. There's Gentry, there's Worth. Here's Bethany and Eagleville and Harrison County along Interstate 35. There's the possible rotation between Gentry and Eagleville, really. I want to put a storm track on this. It's moving at about 30 miles per hour. If it holds together in this direction, it'll cross Interstate 35, say in the next 30 minutes or so. Brooklyn 450 just before 5 o'clock in Eagleville and Canesville by 5:18 as it moves off towards the north and east. So this is the storm we're watching, and we also have our exclusive tornado predictor product that we're keeping an eye on. Alex, were you pulling that up? Was it showing any of the trends in this storm?
Yeah, Jacob, just a couple of seconds ago, we are noticing a little bit of an uptick. We were noticing a downtrend as we were coming off the air about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Now an uptick once again. Northern Gentry County, southern Worth County, western Harrison County, very close to where we have this confirmed tornado warned storm coming out of Gentry County into Harrison County, kind of splitting Bethany and Eagleville. Maybe an increasing chance of a tornado that we have noticed over the past several minutes. Let's take you back to the warned storm here, leaving Gentry County, heading out towards the east, again, roughly at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. This thing has been noticing some pretty good rotation off of it over the last several minutes. The warning until 4:45 here in the area, northwestern Missouri, Gentry into Harrison County.
And Alex, it is still on the ground per EM up there, and it's now crossing the county line as we speak.
Okay, so there you go, crossing the county line. I'm assuming that's into Harrison County?
Yes, yeah, right there.
Into Harrison County. Okay, so that is running parallel to Highway Y, crossing over EE here very soon. So probably something right into here in this area just east of Gentry, in that pink polygon. You can see the circulation. Yep, there it is right there. East of Denver, northeast of Gentry. There's the track on it, Brookland and Eagleville. If you're in Brookland or Eagleville or around that area, near I-35 in between those two towns in central Harrison County, you need to be in your safe spot right now as this tornado still on the ground tracking into Harrison County over the next several minutes. Brookland, Eagleville heading towards you in about the next 10 to 15 minutes. 4:36 for Brookland, 4:43 for Eagleville with that confirmed tornado. Just to the south of this, this is a little bit of a new update here. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning. King City out towards the north and east. This includes Pattonsburg on the very southern edge of this, and Bethany, potentially some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail south of that tornado warning. Southern Gentry County, southern Harrison County over the next 30 minutes to an hour. We're also watching additional cells as they continue to kind of flare up towards the south and east from Gallatin, Chillicothe, up 65 Highway to Trenton and Grundy County, Spickard, Princeton. You could be next in line for some showers and thunderstorms. Again, the tornado predictor again, it looks like there's an update to that confirmed tornado warning. Now this is out for Eagleville and pretty much the entire northern half of Harrison County into the very western edge of Mercer County, not far away from Princeton. So we're really getting towards the northeastern corner of our viewing area. Here's the Iowa state line right here. So again, if you are in Bethany, if you are in Brookland, Missouri, in central Harrison County, if you are in Eagleville, you need to be in your safe spot right now as a confirmed tornado is heading towards your areas here, Jacob, in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Yeah,
and so we have that brand new tornado warning that just came out, and that goes until 5:15 now here across Gentry, Harrison, Mercer, and Worth counties. This is an observed tornado, and that is because we have currently Missouri Highway Patrol has eyes on the tornado that is on the ground. It has just crossed from Gentry County into Harrison County. So this tornado is ongoing. It's been on the ground for at least the last 10 minutes. And the early severe report of this tornado was back in the town of Gentry, and that was there at 4:19. So it's been on the ground now for 10 minutes and continues to track their cross now into Harrison County. So this is a confirmed tornado that we have in northern Missouri, and we're tracking the tornado for you live here on Fox 4 as our Missouri Highway Patrol partners in northern Missouri continue to report that this is on the ground. So here's our wind mode. I'm going to be zooming in now. Here is Gentry. The town of Gentry is now in the clear, and the tornado has moved out of Gentry County now into Harrison County. The tornado is just north of Martinsville, heading towards Interstate 35. The community of Brookland, you need to seek your tornado shelter right now. Eagleville, Blythedale, please seek your tornado shelter as well. That is either a tornado shelter if you're in a mobile home community, if you are in a neighborhood or an apartment and you have a low-level floor with an interior room away from windows and doors, that's where you need to head as well to be in a safe spot to protect you and your family from this tornado that is still confirmed on the ground. So here's our wind speeds, and I'm going to click on these for us to estimate how strong the winds are. We're getting 75 mile per hour, 10 mile per hour So 85-mile-per-hour rotation here just north of Martinsville. And this is where the tornado is on the ground. Now again, we are estimating here in our wind mode way up in the storm, mid to upper levels of the storm. So we're not able to see the strong winds at the surface that is actually producing this tornado. But this is a great way to estimate here on Fox 4 radar for you as it's moving over towards Eaglesville. So I'm going to zoom in here and show you the roads. Here is the tornado right now where these greens and reds are meeting. So this is the tornado. It is right now crossing 140th Avenue, West 140th Avenue, between State Highway Y and State Highway M. So there's the tornado. It's just crossed 140th Avenue, and it is moments away now from Brooklyn, Missouri and Harrison County. So Brooklyn, Missouri, please seek your tornado shelter. We are watching State Highway Y is going to be the next road that this tornado crosses here in the next couple of minutes. I want to do a storm track on this to give you a heads up downstream as long as the tornado stays on the ground where it's going to be heading. It's been moving off towards the east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Brooklyn here in less than 10 minutes, I think. I'm going to update those ETAs so we're slightly more accurate. There we go. So less than 10 minutes. Blythedale at 4:50, Canesville 5:05. Saline at 5:15, Lindley 5:20, Princeton at 5:27. There's our rotation in northern Harrison County. Moving towards Interstate 35 here pretty soon as well. So if you have anyone that you know that may be driving on Interstate 35 through Harrison County, give them a call and let them know that an active tornado is nearing Interstate 35 just to the north of Bethany. So between Bethany and the Iowa state border, let's see if we can limit travel along Interstate 35 until this tornado passes through. So again, kind of stop in Bethany or tell them to, hey, wait it out in Bethany before you go further north, or stop at the state line before you go further south through Harrison County. The rotation remains pretty tight on this storm. It's a confirmed tornado warning until 5:15. Alex, you're keeping an eye on the latest with this warning.
Yeah, that's right. Again, as you mentioned, into Harrison County, western, that is Mercer County, we're noticing that confirmed tornado warning being extended out towards the east. This thing is actually updating its speed a little bit, Jacob, towards the east, 50 miles an hour.
Oh,
so
okay, yes,
that's why we're
spot
having to kind of tweak our ETAs when we do our tornado tracks there over the last several minutes. So we'll be watching out for that. Farther down towards the south, outside of these confirmed tornado warnings, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning leaving King City. This cell right here to the east of King City, racing as well towards the north and east, 40 to 50 miles per hour for the speed there, heading in between Plattsburgh and Bethany along I-35 and along 69 Highway from Davies County into southern Harrison County. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-sized hail possible there, but obviously the focus is going to be on the confirmed tornado warned storm. Again, taking a look at the winds, kind of in the mid-level of this thunderstorm, but you can definitely see that tight, bright color right there. The greens going toward Kansas City to the south, these oranges and yellows going north to Iowa. That counterclockwise spin is what we're tracking. When we take a look at that track, updated for the 50-mile-per-hour motion, heading towards Eagleville here very soon in the next few minutes. I would probably say by about 4:35 or so. Yes, here we 4:43 for Eagleville over the next several minutes with the update there. Blythedale very soon at 4:47. Canesville for the eastern edge of Harrison County just before 5 o'clock. If you're in any of those cities, if you're along I-35 south of Eagleville, around the Brookland area as well, you need to be in your safe spot, lowest level of your home, or the most interior room on the lowest level of your home and away from those windows as this confirmed tornado is moving through western Harrison County into central Harrison County and then on towards the east, racing at about 50 miles an hour. Again, we're tracking other cells outside of the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning just to keep you updated around Gallatin, north of Lock Springs, Missouri, north of Chillicothe, and around the Trenton area as well. These cells don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings attached with them, but they are continuing to grow as they move north and east along 65 highway and eventually lifting up and out of our viewing area into Sullivan County here over the next several minutes. That's something else that we're going to be watching. Big picture, outside of the confirmed tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning, there is not much else. We have had a couple of cells moving through St. Joe. There could be another one, pretty light rainfall from Buchanan County coming back into St. Joe, Missouri here over the next several minutes. Let's take another look at that confirmed tornado warning. 5:15 is when this warning does expire. Allendale, things are starting to wrap up for you, but again, Eagleville, you need to be in your safe spot. Folks along 69 Highway and I-35 south of Eagleville toward Bethany, you need to be in your safe spot. Same thing over towards Canesville, and then eventually into Mercer County. Along 65 Highway, early heads up for those of you in Princeton, in Marion, Missouri, in northern Mercer County. Just an early heads up for those of you as well. A street level view here really quick. Plenty of heavy rainfall in the dark reds. Probably some quarter-sized hailstones along Highway M, 170th Street over towards Eagleville, State Highway D, Highway M, Highway EE. That's where that circulation is. That's where that confirmed tornado is. And Jacob, do we have any updates on if that tornado is still on the ground?
The National Weather Service is assuming it is. We have had storm chasers on this storm. So again, it's getting ominously close now to Interstate 35. So what I don't want to happen is for travelers who may be unaware on Interstate 35 to be impacted by this confirmed tornado. There's storm chasers tracking this storm. I've seen pictures of it on the ground, and the Highway Patrol up in Harrison County saying it's on the ground. So again, if you have friends or family or know someone that is traveling on Interstate 35, between Bethany and the Iowa state border, we need to stop traveling here for the next 20 minutes as the tornado is going to cross Interstate 35 and cross 69 Highway. And that's going to happen just south of Eagleville, Missouri. We're now within 5 minutes of the confirmed tornado reaching Eagleville. It first touched down in Gentry, Missouri, and tracked through northeastern Gentry County. Now it's tracking through western Harrison County and is nearing Interstate 35. If it holds together, it's heading towards Blythedale by 4:45, Canesville at 4:53, and over towards Princeton just after 5 o'clock. So it is still on the ground there north of New Hampton. So that's the latest update we have from our colleagues there. I'm going to zoom in and show you where that is. New Hampton there in northern Missouri in Eagleville. So just south of Eagleville is where the tornado is, about to reach Brooklyn. So if there's a tornado, which we're hearing it is still on the ground, here it is, and it's moving towards Eagleville within the next 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to put an updated here storm track on this kind of up close to show you as it's going to cross Interstate 35. There's the tornado on the ground here in Harrison County. Here's Interstate 35. Eagleville is just north of where it's probably going to cross between Brooklyn and Eagleville within the next 5 minutes. So again, Harrison County, now is the time to seek shelter in your tornado safe room. Hopefully you know where that is, an interior room, the lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows, as many walls between you and outside. Our pink flashing box here is a tornado warning. That means it is on the ground, according to the National Weather Service. That's what we have up here in Harrison County. So we continue to watch the rotation in this storm. Our Fox 4 rotation tracker is still showing that it is rotating. It's hard to get an accurate picture of storms up here in northern Missouri because we're so far away. The nearest radar sites are in Pleasant Hill, Missouri and Omaha, Nebraska. So that's a long way away. So we are looking at the rotation really high in this storm, and that's why it's very helpful for it to be have eyes on the ground to be able to see when this is on the ground. So what I'm seeing here in our wind mode is winds in red coming from the south to the north. Green wind is here coming from the north to the south, and that's where we get rotation. And so I'm going to query these winds, and we can estimate how strong rotation is. 50 miles per hour to the north, 30 miles per hour to the south. That's 80 plus mile per hour rotation at right, again, we are moments from it reaching Interstate 35 between Bethany, Missouri and Eagleville, Missouri and the Iowa state border. So northern Harrison County, a confirmed tornado on the ground, a confirmed tornado warning until 5:15. And this is really the only warning that we are tracking for us right now. I do want to give a brief update for our Kansas City metro just to show that some storms are incoming, but these are not severe. So we'll watch these. Right now, they do not look to be conducive to severe weather or tornadoes. We'll keep an eye on things. There's tornadic storms in southern Kansas too that can near our area soon. But right now, the main storm that we're watching is this confirmed tornado warning in Harrison County. And Alex, this is about to cross Interstate 35 within the next minute or two.
Yeah, very, very soon. So all the dark reds indicating where we have that heavy rainfall, where we have the circulation just south and west of Eagleville. Getting closer to I-35, this thing is moving to the east-northeast pretty quickly, right around 50 miles an hour. So these storms are starting to pick up a little bit of the pace. For Harrison County, Mercer County, just the very eastern edge of Worth County, even though those of you in Denver, Allendale, Grant City, you are in the clear for now from this confirmed tornado warning. This thing is moving towards Eagleville and around the Brookland, Missouri area, folks along I-35 there. When we take a look at kind of the street level view, again, the center of circulation kind of back right in here where we have this little jog to the south and west. There may be some inflow, but also this thunderstorm, this downpour may be kind of interfering with things just a little bit. This thing is confirmed on the ground still. When we take a look at the center of circulation, maybe not as bright of a couplet, Jacob, over the last couple of minutes, but there still easily could be something heading very, very close to the I-35 corridor there south of Bethany, Missouri. This is a look at the ETAs here really quickly. Blythedale, again, you are just to the north and east of this center of circulation. As we head towards 450, this is coming towards you. So in the next 10 minutes, Canesville, over here on the eastern side of the county, and then Saline. This, I believe, Saline, you are in Mercer County. On the northwestern side of Mercer County, that comes in at about 5:07. We're also watching the severe thunderstorm warning just south of the tornado warning for Davies, Gentry, and Harrison County. This has a tornado possible tag with this severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock. It doesn't look like there is tight rotation right now, but definitely lightning, thunder, heavy rainfall in the reds, probably some quarter-size hail, and maybe some wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or so, trying to move back into Bethany, the southern portion of Harrison County. When we take a look at the wind speeds again, in this section of the severe thunderstorm, there is something there, but it's relatively weak, especially when you can compare it to the Harrisonville tornado that we are watching right now. Zooming out, talking about other thunderstorms on the north and eastern side towards eastern Gallatin, eastern Davies County, from around Chillicothe, Trenton to Spickard. There are growing thunderstorms here and hopefully moving out of the area before these become either severe warned or tornado warned. But we'll be watching this section of 65 Highway, Chillicothe, all the way through Princeton. By the way, if you're in Princeton, early heads up, that confirmed tornado warning is just to your west in Mercer County. So you need to be kind of thinking about making your way to the safe spot. Throughout Eagleville, you need to be in your safe spot right now. And for folks just south of Eagleville along I-35 in Harrison County, that tornado is coming towards you. Again, still on the ground from what we can tell over the last several minutes. Also, there's some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts back around Atchison, Donovan County, Kansas. That's a little bit farther west of what we're trying to stay on top of here around Eagleville and for Bethany in Harrison County. Farther out towards the west, again, Jacob was talking about this just a little while ago. We'll be watching these thunderstorms growing across Leavenworth County, trying to move into Wyandotte County. Not severe, Jacob, but obviously something we're going to be watching.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those. Again, this one tornado warning, Alex, is what we're going to watch closely as it's about to cross, or we're crossing now, Interstate 35 here in Harrison County, Missouri. So this tornado warning goes until 5:15 here, Mercer, Worth, Harrison counties. And right now it's passing between Bethany and Eagleville. It looks like we just got an update to the warning. Maybe it is lifted barely, or the spotters are not seeing a spotter report in the last 10 minutes. The National Weather Service decided that it may not be on the ground. Still watching it very closely though, as it's going to likely cause damage as it crosses the interstate. And to me, this wind profile still signifies a likely tornado on the ground. And there's actually two areas, which is interesting. I was watching in this reflectivity mode and our rain mode here as I loop this. Watch, again, this is kind of, again, we talked about this earlier this afternoon, some contaminated inflow a little bit. Typically, this supercell to stay healthy, it needs some clear air to the south to draw in as moisture and fuel. And so that may be contaminated a little bit by kind of this stinger inflow notch, if you will, coming up right up the interstate. So when we go over to velocity, or when I zoom in here, I would expect the rotation to say be right here over Interstate 35, where there's this notch that just flashed right over the interstate. So when we go to our velocity or our wind product, that is about where we're seeing it here. We have tight rotation just south of Eagleville, Missouri, along Interstate 35, and it's paralleling State Highway N here that is running through Blythedale just to the east of Eagleville. So the storm here crossing Interstate 35 as we speak, and I'm going to estimate our wind speeds here on Fox 4 radar. This is a valuable tool when we can sample these wind speeds inside the storm. Yes, we're several thousand feet up, but it gives us an idea of the strength of the rotating updraft, because a rotating updraft that forms a tornado goes from the ground all the way through the thunderstorm. So it's rotating and extending up through the entire cumulonimbus cloud. And so when we can sample that, say in the mid-levels, we can get an estimation of how strong it may be. So these greens are going south, the reds going north. There's the tornado, and that is about 100-mile-per-hour rotation right now, right over Interstate 35 near Eagleville, which is just north of Bethany. So as we take a wider view here, Bethany is just outside the tornado warning, but areas in northern Harrison County need to be in your tornado safe place now. This has been on the ground for the last 30 minutes. It may be lifting briefly, or it may still be on the ground. It's hard to know for sure as it is crossing Interstate 35. So this storm continues to move off. Alex, was it 50 miles per hour?
Yeah, 50 miles per hour to the east-northeast.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to track the storm out here at 50 miles per hour and just give an updated ETA on this storm as it moves maybe closer to the Mercer County line. So Blythedale here in the next 4 minutes. Canesville, 5 o'clock. Marion at 5:10. And an interesting thing that I'm seeing here on our latest velocity scan is that the tightest rotation might have shifted just over Eagleville a little bit. That's where I'm seeing these reds and greens. So maybe the old rotation was down here, the new rotation may be up here, and that may be why it lifted briefly. This is a rotating wall cloud, and maybe it went from the south side of the wall cloud and now it's dropping down on the north side of the wall cloud, right over Eagleville, right over Interstate 35. So we'll sample those winds again, since this is a brand new radar scan. And we get there, peak winds maybe, again, closer to the 80, 90 mile per hour range. And again, we're looking kind of high up in the storm, so hard to know for sure exactly how strong the tornado is on the ground. I'm getting a good signal, though, near Eagleville that this is still likely on the ground. This is the tornado polygon. It does not include Princeton. It does not include Bethany, but it does include areas like Eagleville, Canesville, Mount Moriah, and Lindley until 5:15. So that is our tornado warning that has been confirmed right now. There are questions if it is on the ground. If it's not, we'll know soon. And also an update, our partners at the National Weather Service coordinating a new watch. I was getting a lot of questions online. What about me? I live in Lee's Summit. I live in Clinton. I live in Sedalia. Are we getting a watch? Yes, the National Weather Service is about to issue a tornado watch for the rest of the counties that are not already under one. And that's because our severe thunderstorm threat is increasing here as storms are heading in our direction from southern Kansas and Oklahoma. They're having a severe weather outbreak today, as we are, down across Oklahoma and southern Kansas. There's still a confirmed tornado down near Independence and Chanute. If this holds together, we'll watch for a tornado threat on our southern communities in the next few hours. But right now, the main tornado threat is in northern Missouri. Alex, do we have any updates on that storm?
Jacob, over the last couple of minutes, not really seeing a lot of updates from that cell. Harrison County, excuse me, into Mercer County. We'll be watching that over the next several minutes. I am keeping my eye on what is happening along 65 highway. We're going to continue to watch these growing cells from Carrollton right over Bramer. You're seeing a downpour right now in Bramer. That's southeastern Caldwell County. Continuing up 65 Highway to Chillicothe, Trenton, on to Spickard. There's some additional formation north of Plattsburgh to Cameron. That is Clinton County, and heading towards Maysville, Gallatin. You're seeing some scattered thunderstorms around you as well. Some of these may continue to grow, especially some of these southern storms around Carroll County. So we may see some additional severe thunderstorm warnings, or maybe even a tornado warning over the next several minutes. Again, focusing on that Harrison County tornado warning. Again, the observed section of this tornado warning has been dropped. So over the last couple minutes, we haven't seen any additional reports from our friends, the National Weather Service, that this thing is on the ground. But we are treating it like it is still in progress right over Eagleville. So hopefully you in Eagleville have been in your safe spot for a long time. This tornado warning still out for another 15 to 25 more minutes. It doesn't expire until 5:15 this evening. Blythedale, Canesville, Eagleville, Mount Menorah in Harrison County and Mercer County. This is affecting about 1,200 people for the northeastern edge of our viewing area. Plenty of heavy rain. Probably that circulation is right over Eagleville right now that Jacob was highlighting just a few minutes ago. Outside of the circulation, probably some quarter-sized hail and very gusty winds along I-35. There's the center of circulation right over Eagleville. It was looking relatively bright and relatively strong over the last couple of minutes. Maybe this has kind of moved just to the east of Eagleville over Blythedale very recently. I'm moving that circle, kind of indicating it where we're watching that center of circulation. Still out going east about 50 miles an hour toward Lindley, toward Marion. That would be in Mercer County. Other cities and towns in the way, 502 Saline, you're going to be next in line for that. Lindley right around 506, Marion by 515, maybe on to central Mercer County here after that as we head towards about 520 or so. Also farther south for southern Harrison County, we have a tornado possible tag attached to a severe thunderstorm warning. This is heading into Bethany. More 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible here, maybe even some quarter-sized hailstones possible there, where we have the dark reds just to the south and southwest of New Hampton and Bethany along I-35 there. If you're in those areas, if you're in Bethany, New Hampton, you need to be inside and potentially prepare for possibly a brief spin-up over the next several minutes. So let's send it back over to Jacob with an update.
Okay, thanks, Alex. So again, we're watching here the environment that is somewhat conducive for more tornadoes through the evening. Generally, the activity here has been across northern Missouri this afternoon. We may see that trend upward for the metro area south later. Right now, there's a tornado watch for some of us until 9 o'clock. The National Weather Service saying a new tornado watch coming soon for the southern part of the metro. So we'll bring that to you as soon as that is issued. Right now, though, the reason we're on the air is we're tracking this tornado warning up in Harrison and Mercer counties. This goes until 5:15. And again, it was on the ground for a little bit back in Gentry County. And so as I click on that report there, as I pause the radar and click on that report, this came in from our highway patrol, and it crossed 169 right in the town of Gentry, and then it was on the ground into Harrison County, and it might have lifted before it reached Interstate 35, but we are unsure, and so we're still watching this tornado. It still has pretty tight rotation, at least the mid and upper levels of this storm do. This is really strong winds to me near Eagleville and right over Blythedale. So if there's a tornado, it is probably right over Blythedale. So hopefully everyone here, as we've been giving you a 30-minute heads up at this point, is in their tornado safe place. If you are now here in north and eastern Gentry County, or excuse me, Mercer County here from Harrison into Mercer County, that's where we need to seek shelter now too. Goshen, Lindley, Canesville. This is kind of moving north though, so I think it's going to track north of Princeton. I'll put an ETA on this band of where the tornado could possibly be. It's moving at about 55 miles per hour. So there's kind of the timing for this that pushes it, say, up towards Canesville just after 5 o'clock. Lindley there at 5:06, Marion 5:16, Mercer 5:15, and then kind of probably heading into Iowa. So here's the rotation, the tornado, if it's still on the ground near Blythedale, right over Blythedale, and it's tracking to the east-northeast. at about 50 miles per hour. Our rotation tracker has been kind of signifying this. Also, we're watching our exclusive Fox 4 tornado predictor. It had higher chances earlier, but now they have gone down maybe a little bit. So hopefully that trend continues. But we're still going to watch this storm closely because it's had a history of producing a tornado within the last 20 minutes. Kind of a messy look to it right now. Again, I had been talking earlier this afternoon about how I look for the source region for the energy for these storms. It's pretty contaminated here to the south, down towards Bethany, Spickard. There's storm activity to the south, some hail with that too. So this may be limiting the moisture that we're getting in. In fact, in Bethany, we're getting some small dime to penny-sized hail reports right now. So that's what's off to the south of this. So it may be struggling to get the best moisture and the best fuel in this storm, which maybe is why the tornado is struggling or has lifted for a little bit up there to the north. The mid-levels of this storm, though, are still rotating very healthily as it moves away now from Eagleville. So again, our greens here are coming to the south, our reds coming to the north in our Fox 4 wind mode. And the winds here that we're going to query are relatively far apart. They're not next to each other. So this is mid-level rotation that's about, say, 55 plus 35, about 90 miles per hour or so is the broad rotation in this supercell near Blythedale, moving up towards the north and the east. So Saline, Lindley, Caneville, Blythedale, tornado safe place. This tornado warning continues until 5:15. There are other showers and storms developing, though. And Alex, you're keeping an eye on those too on Fox 4 radar.
Yeah, that's right, Jacob. I was talking about the last time we were kind of exchanging ideas back and forth. Folks to the south and east of that warned storm, south and east of Harrison County along I-65 highway, there is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to go out for the next, probably about 30 minutes or so. Trenton to Spickard to Princeton. This storm does have the capability of producing probably some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also some quarter-sized hail with it. $half-sized hail with this new severe thunderstorm warning covering Spickard and Princeton. So that's northern Gentry County, that is southern and central Mercer County. Again, in the extreme northeastern corner of the viewing area. This goes until 5:45. This is brand new warning covering those areas along 65 highway. So a bit of a mess. We're watching several different things. First of all, and probably most importantly, this tornado warning still out there for Eagleville and points to the east across central and northern Harrison County into, let's say, northwestern Mercer County. This does include Kingsville and a few other small towns in northwestern Mercer County. Princeton, you are under that new severe thunderstorm warning until 5:45. The tornado warning in Harrison County goes until about 5:15. When we take a look at the circulation, again, it's still out there east of Eagleville. This was over Blythedale for a few minutes there. Hopefully folks in Blythedale and Eagleville, you maybe in the next few minutes can get out of your safe spot as this circulating area does start to move out towards the east. Lindley, you're still going to be next in line. Same thing for Saline, a small town, more than likely in northeastern Harrison County. 501 for Saline, 505 for Lindley, other small cities around Marion. 514 there over the next several minutes. Lots of heavy rainfall, quarter to $half-sized hail possible, along with some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for this severe thunderstorm warning. This is bearing down on Bethany right now. Heavy rainfall and probably those hailstones right into Bethany in central and southern Harrison County. This is heading out towards Mount Menorah and along Highway 136 to Princeton. So around Mount Menorah and Princeton, you need to be thinking about getting inside, especially over in Princeton where we already have that severe thunderstorm warning out. Small area of circulation that we're watching southwest of Bethany. You need to be in your safe spot just to be on the safer side in Bethany, Missouri right now. This thing is racing towards the east and northeast, roughly around 50 to 55 miles an hour. These storms have been picking up speed since we came back on the air about 30 minutes ago. Over towards Mount Menorah by 5:11, Goshen by 5:19, on to Princeton potentially by 5:24 if it makes it all the way over there. Again, a very, very active scene for areas north of 36 Highway in Missouri. Also, for folks around Kansas City, we haven't seen much activity around the metro all day long, but we are starting to notice some heavy rainfall and plenty of thunderstorm activity west of Kansas City, western Wyandotte County, Leavenworth County into now Douglas and Franklin County. Non-severe thunderstorms there. and that is going to be slowly moving on into the metro. So maybe just hopefully some steady rain for Kansas City over the next 30 minutes to an hour. We will be watching the growing cells east of Kansas City on the Missouri side. This has been continuing to trend up over the past half hour along 65 highway, now down around Richmond, Wellington, south of Odessa, northeast of Harrisonville into Warrensburg. Again, there are a couple of downpours and thunderstorms there. We'll be watching those cells, Jacob, as they continue to grow towards the north and northeast into areas that have already seen severe weather today.
Yeah, really. And so that's what's interesting about this is there's several rounds here. So it's 5 o'clock now on our Saturday afternoon and evening. Alex Countee and myself have been tracking severe weather and tornadoes across northern Missouri and northern Kansas for the last almost 3 hours. So now we have a brand new tornado watch that has been issued by the National Weather Service in Pleasant Hill that now goes until midnight. This includes the entire Kansas City metro and everyone to the south, the west, the north, the east. So our entire region is now under this tornado watch until midnight. The first round of storms that we had seen this afternoon was really confined to northern Missouri and northern Kansas along a warm front up there. Now we have storms that are moving in from central and south Kansas, and that is elevating our severe weather threat as we head into this evening. So I wanted to give you kind of an overview about what's going on and what we're still expecting as we move through this evening. Meteorologist Joe Lauria is also joining us here in the Weather Center now. So we have our full team tracking storms for you tonight. There's a warm front that has lifted up towards the north. That was the trigger point for severe thunderstorms this afternoon where we had training supercells. Now there's a cold front back across central Kansas, and we're watching these storms down to the south, down near, say, Chanute and Independence. This storm complex currently has 2 confirmed tornadoes on the ground in southeastern Kansas. This is all moving in a northeast direction, kind of towards the south side of the greater Kansas City metro. So this is what we're going to have to watch here as we head now into this evening, and that may pose a damaging wind, hail, and tornado threat over the next several hours. So we're going to watch that risk closely for those storms in southeastern Kansas as they move in our direction. There's the pink box near, say, Salt Springs, Yates Center, just to the west of Chanute. That's a confirmed tornado that, if it holds together, in about an hour and a half, could be entering Anderson County and Garnett. So that's something we'll keep an eye on for our southwestern communities here as we head into this evening. For now, the main storm we're watching is north of the metro. We do have storms coming into town. So yes, we have some lightning and thunder off towards the west and north across Douglas County, Leavenworth County, Platte County, some lightning, maybe some gusts up to 30 or 40 miles per hour with this as it moves in. Kind of ominous skies as we look off towards the west, but nothing severe right now in the metro. We'll continue to monitor these cells as Alex has been showing you out towards the east in Carroll and Livingston County, but it's really up towards the north, this one tornado warning that we're keeping a close eye on. And it looks like if there is a tornado on the ground at this point, it is rain wrapped because there is a big rain and hail core that is around this storm. And so we're,
just piggybacking off what you said, Grundy County Emergency Manager said pea-sized hail spickered. All reports from Harrison County, heavy rain and small hail at this point. If there is a tornado, like you mentioned, it is more than likely rain wrapped over the last several minutes.
Yeah, so that's really kind of, and I agree with that, Alex, that, you know, if there's a tornado, maybe it's weakened a little bit and it's probably rain wrapped and not going to be possible to see at this point. We've gotten some chaser video and photos from this storm back when it was in Gentry County. Now it's moving into Mercer County, and it's gotten a little bit more messy, which is good because hopefully the messier storm situation will kind of weaken that. I want to look at our rotation tracker because the good news with this is we can kind of look through and cut through the noise of the rain, hail, and storms and look at where there is some wind rotation in the storm. So again, if there's a tornado here, it is way northeast of Bethany and to the west-northwest of Princeton, moving towards Lindley, Missouri. That's almost at the Iowa state border. So extreme northeastern Harrison County, northwestern Mercer County is where we have this tornado warning for 15 more minutes until 5:15. Now, again, the last time that we had,
Jacob?
yes.
There may also be an area to watch northeast of Spickard, maybe some circulation here. I'm just taking a look at the winds. Maybe a little bit of something there right along the, this would be Grundy and Mercer County line racing off towards the north and east. Deeper into Mercer County, here's Princeton right here, 65 Highway, 136 Highway through Princeton. Potentially that is racing off towards the northeast. These are cells that have been bubbling south of 65 Highway over the last now hour or so. They're starting to continue to gain more and more strength. When we take a look at Fox 4 radar near Kansas City, some definitely heavy rainfall, but nothing severe coming into the metro onto the western side. It's these individual cells east and northeast of Kansas City that we're going to continue to watch into that tornado watch area. From Wellington, Richmond, Carrollton, all the way up 65 Highway. Maybe there's some embedded hailstones in some of these cells that continue to grow up the highway. So anyone trying to travel from Trenton down to Chillicothe and Carrollton, probably that is not a good idea at all. You want to stay inside as these training cells are really starting to line up and move into the northeastern corner.
Yeah, that's a good observation there, Alex. I think that Spickard storm actually probably has maybe stronger rotation now than the one up towards the north and east of Eagleville. And it looks like, okay, so I'm seeing these reports coming. It looks like up near Mount Moriah, there may be a wall cloud. So here we're looking at the wind mode. It's kind of getting messy, okay? We have some weak rotation up here near Lendley. We have tighter rotation, stronger rotation near Spickard, maybe some weak rotation near Spickard. Mount Moriah, Alex, what's the Mount Moriah report? Is that a wall cloud near Mount Moriah?
Yes, there was a report just a few seconds ago, developing wall cloud 4 miles to the north and northeast of that town.
Okay, so maybe that's this rotation that could be approaching Princeton. That would kind of be a cyclonic storm, which would be rare, but that's certainly not out of the realm of possibility in this messy storm mode. Down towards Spickard probably looks the strongest wind speed wise and rotation wise to me, even though there's not, so now there's a tornado on the ground.
Yep.
So here near Spickard. So there's not a tornado warning, but this is on the ground now, which is right on the Grundy and Mercer County line, moving up towards the north. So this is a new confirmed tornado just to the north and east of Spickard, and there's our new tornado warning. Okay, so this tornado warning is now for Grundy, Mercer, Putnam, and Sullivan counties until 5:30. So this storm further south and maybe a better environment or untapped environment is where we have a new tornado warning. And this is tracking up towards the north and the east at about 40 miles per hour. So we're going to put a new storm track on this storm to give you a heads up as it moves up towards the north. Again, 40-mile-per-hour winds or speed rather on this. So we will put that here into our computer and track it towards the north. Oh yeah, definitely. So it's into Mercer County now. So it's moving away from Grundy. It might have touched down near Spickard, but it's across the county line. And it's probably going to pass towards the east of Princeton. So this is heading up towards, say, Lucerne there by 5:30. So really kind of now the southeastern portion there of Mercer County is where we're looking at the tightest rotation. So zooming in on this, we'll get down to our street level there north of Myers, just to the east of Mill Grove. This is where we have the confirmed tornado on the ground now in southern Mercer County, and we're going to sample the wind speeds here as the tornado is right now crossing Missouri Highway Y and Missouri Highway JJ, moving up towards the north. Our wind speeds looking like, we just got a new wind update there, so we'll click on the new ones. 65 miles per hour to the north, 40 mile per hour towards the south, so that's 105 mile per hour rotation. When we see this over 100 miles per hour, that's where we're certain this is on the ground, and also we have confirmation that this is on the ground now. Again, not really in Gentry County, it's crossed over here into Mercer County now, just north of Spickard, moving up towards the north and east. So Alex, we have this new tornadic storm moving now north and east, as is a new tornado warning until 5:30.
Yeah, Jacob, that's right. We're also watching the larger area. That's all being kind of surrounded by a severe thunderstorm warning. We've had some history of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, the possibility of quarter to $half sized hail as we're starting to wrap up the tornado warning in eastern Harrison County, western Mercer County. All eyes now northeast of Spickard with that confirmed tornado and now tornado warning for southeastern Mercer County as we head towards about 5:30 this evening. Let's take another look at that information here over the next couple of minutes. So if you are north and east of Spickard and south and east of about Princeton, Missouri, you need to be in your safe spot. Luckily, that looks like a pretty rural area of Mercer County. When we take a better look at the winds in the mid-levels of that storm over the next several minutes, we're going to find that that track out to the north and east, it is racing right around 40 miles an hour. There's really not a lot of cities and towns in the way. This one, right around 529, that is actually over in Putnam County, just outside of the viewing area. So we'll be watching that circulation as it moves out towards the north and northeast. Other storms that we're going to be watching, that is mainly out towards Kansas City, the western side of the metro. We're also noticing more cells firing up south of the Kansas City metro. All of this that we're looking at on the map is non-severe, but these storms are growing. They're finally getting going. Spring Hill south of Olathe. So in central Johnson County around Olathe Medical Center, you're probably going to start see some light rain, probably some thunder and lightning. Same thing over downtown Lee Summit, where 470 hooks back towards the north, towards Independence. There's a growing cell there heading towards the I-70 corridor, and same thing in southeastern Jackson County. That's going to be around Lone Jack. There is a growing cell over there over the next several minutes. We're going to be watching what is been developing over the last hour or so. All of these cells right along 65 highway from Carrollton up towards Trenton, where we have that severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning. Right now, none of this is severe, but growing and probably becoming more intense, Jacob, over the next several minutes.
We have this confirmed tornado again up here in Mercer County, and that's really the main storm that we're watching now. It's still on the ground, according to emergency management up there. Just now to the east of Mill Grove and east of 65 Highway. Now, again, this is kind of moving away from our area, so once it gets maybe across the county line up towards Putnam, then our risk will be all clear here in Mercer County, but it's still on the ground for now.
Jacob, it looks like we got a new update from Grundy County EM. Still rapid rotation, vertical motion, but no longer on the ground for now.
Okay.
We'll see how that changes over the next couple minutes.
Okay, yeah. So again, this storm had been on the ground back near Spickard, and it maybe has now lifted here. So it was a brief touchdown for this tornado in Grundy and Mercer counties. The wind rotation still pretty strong as we're looking at this in the upper levels. Right about there, around 5 o'clock is when we got this warning, and that's when the rotation was probably the strongest. It's broad, but still pretty strong here as it's moving up towards the north, and our rotation tracker kind of hinting at that a little bit with some of those blues there. I want to look at our exclusive Fox 4 Tornado Predictor product, see what it's thinking about here. Yeah, possibly that medium tornadic threat north of Princeton, kind of up near the Iowa border, though, at this point, for these storms moving northeast away from our area. So we're still watching that storm. Again, it's still a tornado warning until 5:30, but it is not confirmed on the ground, which is good news. Again, though, these storms we've seen kind of bounce up and down tornadoes through the afternoon here across northern Missouri. So there's the storm right now. The wind speed still looking pretty strong and organized in the middle of this storm. This is between Spickard and Harris, Missouri. And our latest wind estimates here have us at about 110 miles per hour, 40 plus 78. And these reds, again, are moving north. These greens are coming south. That's where we get the rotation. So this is right over, or is just past Missouri Y, heading up towards Highway E there in southern Mercer County, Missouri Highway J as well. Also going to see this cross there soon. So not as many communities in this corner of Mercer County once you get up, say, kind of east of 65 Highway. Still, though, tornado was on the ground for about 5 minutes. It's lifted. It may touch down again. So we're going to have to continue to watch that storm closely. Again, that's the storm up here in northern Missouri that we're watching. There are some storms starting to increase in coverage here around the Kansas City metro. Again, though, there is nothing severe right now here in Kansas City. So that's good news. As we put motion on this, the storms arriving from the west. We have some rain and lightning up in Platte County, also some lightning in Baldwin City down into northern Miami County, and also a few lightning strikes down near Pleasant Hill, say moving into eastern Jackson County. So we're going to have to watch all of these storms. If they mature, they might try to rotate. Maybe watching these storms near Chillicothe. I just am curious and want to look at our wind mode in Carroll and Livingston counties. Not seeing tight rotation there, so that's good news. But we'll continue to watch these as they move north closer to the warm front. Further south, we still have that tornado warning that is down near Salt Springs and Yates Center. Again, if this holds together, it'll approach Garnett, say, in an hour and a half. We'll monitor that situation for our communities down towards the south. Also, again, just an update and reminder that we have had a new tornado watch issued. This now goes until midnight for the Kansas City metro and all of our surrounding areas, no matter what side of town you live on. So that's why we're going to remain weather aware here through tonight as storms arrive. Even though it's kind of a messy storm mode, there still could be embedded circulations, kind of as we've seen this afternoon, Alex. Still watching that one tornado warning up to the north. I guess it's still unconfirmed, or it is lifted off the ground. But it may touch down at any time, Alex.
Yeah, that's right. Again, this is southeastern Mercer County, away from Princeton and generally east of 65 Highway. This was near and northeast of Spickard about 15 minutes ago, now pushing out into Mercer County. You can see a little bit of the spin there in the southeastern corner of that county, just about out of the viewing area. But this goes until 5:30. It does cross over into Putnam County. And as Jacob was putting the track on this a few minutes ago, really not a lot of cities and towns in the way. So that's good news. This is the broad area of rotation as this tornado may have lifted back into the thunderstorm cloud. It's pushing out towards the north and east, though. Here's Highway E in Mercer County, hooking up with State Highway J. That's where the center of circulation is thereabouts. Here's the town of Harris, and that is also generally towards the east, away from this center of circulation. All of this pushing out towards the north and east, hopefully over just open areas. Again, not a lot of cities and towns in the way, so that's good news. This town around Lucerne, 531, that is in western Putnam County, just outside of the viewing area. Severe thunderstorm warning, though, still in effect until 5:45, so another 30 minutes with this from about Canesville over towards Princeton, Spickard, just to the north and east of Gilman City, and just to the north of Trenton. We have the possibility of some half-dollar sized hail, some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, especially in these dark reds that we're seeing on Fox 4 radar. That does include the tornado warning that we just looked at for Mercer County. Again, there's that area of circulation moving towards the north and northeast. Another update for Kansas City, we are starting to see the skies darken. We definitely have the rainfall and thunderstorms coming into Johnson County, Kansas, maybe a little bit of weakening with a couple of cells around Spring Hill over towards Olathe. Also heavy rainfall back towards DeSoto in western Johnson County, heading up to Bonner Springs. Maybe around the Baser area there as well, near the Leavenworth and Wyandotte County line. I still think that the biggest threat east of Kansas City could be these cells that continue to flare up. Maybe something north and west of Carrollton here very soon. Possibly some hailstones north of Carrollton along 65 Highway. That goes all the way over towards Chillicothe. We'll be watching what develops along I-70 east of Kansas City. There's one storm leaving Lee Summit and riding along the northbound lanes of 470 as that road heads to Independence and the I-70 hookup there. Same thing over towards Odessa, maybe a storm developing there. Warrensburg to Concordia, that's along Missouri 13. Lots to watch, Jacob, as things have really started to kind of form up over the past hour or so.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a messy. There's a lot of storms out there, but those could turn into supercells or cellular storms that may try to rotate, Alex. So yeah, good eye on keeping an eye on all of those. We do have a new update here on this tornado warning that is up there in Mercer County. Our emergency manager, Glenn, letting us know that there's a rotating wall cloud still with this. That is visible from Highway J and JJ west of Newtown. So I'm going to zoom in and see if we can see exactly where that view is. We're going to see there's Highway J and there's JJ. So he is right about here looking north. So we've got a wall cloud right up here crossing Missouri J and Highway E. So that is moving north and east. So there's the rotation. Let's update and click on our winds here to get another estimate as we're going to continue to track this. 60 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, about 90 mile per hour rotation here. And that is where we have the wall cloud right over Missouri Highway J. So we'll zoom out, keep the circulation there, and then we'll kind of give into perspective where this is heading up towards the north and the east at about 55 miles per hour. So there's the storm. It's moving north and east away from our area, eventually towards Lucerne there by 5:40. So this is moving away from Spickard, away from Princeton. That's good news. This tornado warning continues though, and 136 highway east of Princeton out towards Lucerne. As you get up there, further up towards the north and east, up into Putnam County, that's where we have the potential for this tornado to track here over the next hour or so. So we're going to continue to track this storm until it crosses the county line into Putnam County, because we cover our communities in Mercer County. Putnam County will hand it off into central and northeastern Missouri. Still, though, some rotation with this tornado warning, and this tornado warning still goes until 5:45. Our rotation tracker still indicating that there is rotation on this. We've had reports of a wall cloud. The wall cloud is going to be right in there between Harris and Mill Grove. That's the rotating wall cloud that our Glenn, the Grundy County Emergency Manager, has seen kind of looking north from Myers. So we have a rotating wall cloud there. Tornado may not be on the ground. It was 10-15 minutes ago. Now a rotating wall cloud, which means it could touch down again at any time as it moves up towards the north and east. So there's this storm. There's some other storms forming around. Alex is keeping a wider view of Fox 4 radar right now. Alex?
Yeah, that's right, Jacob. Now just about 5:21. Activity getting closer to downtown Kansas City. Still not severe, but it's definitely getting dark and it's definitely getting loud. Baser around Tonganoxie, western Wyandotte County, western Johnson County on the Kansas side. Now in the Northland from KCI up I-29 through Platte County, around and right on top of Platte City, northwest of downtown Kansas City. You're seeing some heavy rain, some thunder and lightning, maybe some small hail. That's heading towards 169, Smithville and Smithville Lake. Same thing over towards Plattsburgh, Cameron, as well for other areas around Maysville and Gallatin. What we're also watching, growing thunderstorms east of Kansas City along I-70 and then north along 65 highway on the eastern edge. From Concordia, Marshall, Carrollton, all the way through Chillicothe into Trenton, where we have that warning, that tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warning. We're noticing more and more storms growing here. Nothing severe right now, but that's what we're going to be watching, especially north and east of Kansas City. Some of these cells may already have some small hail along with some heavy rain, indicated by those dark reds on Fox 4 radar. We look towards the south and east of Kansas City, still nothing severe, but again, a few isolated cells starting to pop up in between Adrian and Clinton, right on the Bates and Henry County line, where we had some severe weather late yesterday. Again, nothing severe there so far. In between Chilhowie and Warrensburg, and in between Lee Summit and Odessa. We're watching a couple of growing cells there pretty close to the Pleasant Hill radar, so we're getting a good picture there. Just a really quick look at southeastern Kansas. We are watching these confirmed tornadoes away from the viewing area, away from Garnett, but this is getting closer towards Yates Center. That is around Woodson County, also not too far away from Iola, and eventually, potentially getting into Anderson County. So we'll be watching that for the Garnett area and our southwestern side. Still well away from the viewing area right now, but this is something that we're going to be watching out for. An early heads up, Jacob, for the southwestern corner of our viewing area.
Yeah, thanks for that heads up, Alex. I think that's going to be kind of our next zone to watch. Unfortunately, as our severe weather threat here continues into the evening. So again, the reason we're on right now here with our tornado coverage is this tornado warning until 5:45 for Mercer and Putnam counties. This is about to cross the county line out of our WDAF coverage area. And it's moving away from Princeton and Spickard, which is good news. We do have a wall cloud report on that storm just to the northwest of Harris, so we'll continue to monitor that. Also some weak rotation north of Princeton. That is kind of moving up towards the north as well. So we're monitoring those spots in this storm. But otherwise, this is really the main area of rotation that I'm seeing. And it's about, again, to cross out of our area. So here we go, a zoom in right now. There is Spickard, which is where the tornado originally touched down, and it crossed now. It's moving up towards the northeast here pretty well, and it's about to cross 139 highway there just to the north of Harris. So we'll zoom in one final time here to look at our roads as this is moving now over 139 highway into maybe Sullivan County before it reaches Putnam, past Highway E now there in Mercer County, as a rotation tracker is still indicating the potential for some rotation in this tornado warning as it moves up towards Lucerne here. I'll do kind of a final storm track on this away from our area up towards Lucerne. Again, it will arrive there in about 20 minutes, so it's about to cross out of our coverage area. The rotation is now really there into Sullivan and Putnam counties, so that is really no longer a concern, and I think all of Mercer County is now in the clear. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning up there, and that severe thunderstorm warning is for some hail, maybe up to quarter-size hail, and that goes until 5:45. That does include places like Spickard and Princeton, and we'll continue to monitor that storm. And the Kansas City Metro, we have non-severe thunderstorms that are forming, and those have some lightning, maybe some Amatis clouds, some ominous clouds, but right now nothing severe. Before we sign off, I just want to do a double check here of these storms that I'm not seeing any rotation in these in Carroll or Livingston County. The main rotation there up north of Harris, that's where that tornado warning continues. And then off towards the south, some tight rotation that'll be in maybe Garnett in about an hour and a half or so. So we'll watch these storms for you. Just a reminder that we have a tornado watch in effect for the Kansas City Metro until midnight as storms move through. So we're probably not done with our severe weather threat. Right now, though, our immediate tornado threat has ended for the Fox 4 coverage area as we approach now 5:30. So we're going to send you back to our regular sports programming. We'll continue to provide updates and cut back in as needed here through this evening. And of course, we have more team coverage coming up for you tonight on Fox 4 News at 9 and 10. For now, we'll send you back to sports. Okay, it is 5:38 here on our Saturday evening, and we are cutting back in to track a new tornado warning. These northern Missouri storms have been very stubborn in trying to rotate this afternoon right up along the warm front. And so we have a new tornado warning now that has just been issued for Grundy and Mercer counties. Another rotating storm near Spickard, and this is a radar indicated tornado warning that goes now until 6 o'clock for Grundy, Mercer, and Sullivan counties here in northern Missouri. So there's possible rotation right now over 65 highway, and that's where we're going to zoom in and track the possible tornado. Again, we have eyes on the ground up there that are keeping a close eye on this storm. And here's the rotation right between Spickard and Tyndall. And so I'm going to query our winds and show kind of how strong this rotation might be. It's relatively on the lower end of things right now. Our wind speeds were about, say, 50 miles per hour and 25 miles per hour. So that gives us about, say, 75 mile per hour rotation in this storm. So again, some decent rotation here with this new tornado warning in Mercer County up here in Grundy County, excuse me, just south of Spickard. So there's a possible tornado that could touch down here any moment along 65 highway, and it's moving north right near Spickard. So Spickard community, go ahead and seek your tornado precautions, an interior room away from doors and windows, put as many walls ideally between you and outside and the lowest level of your home, or in a storm shelter if you have one of those. So this is moving north-northeast up 65 highway towards Spickard. It's going to cross State Highway C here pretty soon. And the National Weather Service says this is moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to zoom out slightly and put a storm track on this as this is going up towards the north. And this is at 35 miles per hour. And so when we put a storm track on here, it moves us north of Spickard, maybe nearing the Harris community, in the next 20 minutes or so. This warning goes until 6 o'clock. I think that this tornadic circulation just stays to the south and east of Princeton, which is what the last one did. We also now have a Putnam rotating storm that's out of our area. Weak rotation between Tyndall and Spickard. This is north of Trenton. Trenton, Missouri is not in this tornado warning, but still northern Grundy County needs to be seeking their tornado precautions because we have this possible tornado. So this is where we have the tornado warning up here across Grundy and Mercer counties, really between Tyndall and Princeton. It's over Spickard, moving towards Harris, eventually towards Lucerne. This is our one lone tornado warning that goes until 6 o'clock. So again, we still think that we're going to be transitioning from a northern Missouri threat to a more south and west threat into Kansas as storms move in from South Kansas and Oklahoma. So that's a storm that we're keeping an eye on as well, off towards the south. Here's the storm, though, right now across northern Missouri. A lot of lightning with this. This tornado warning continues until 6. Near Spickard, seek your tornado precautions as we have rotation heading there into southern Mercer County. Joe Lauria, meteorologist, also in now tracking the other storms, Joe, that we have in our area.
Yeah, we're going to let Alex get at home, get a couple of hours of sleep, and we'll see what happens later on tonight. We do want to focus, though, on what's going on elsewhere around the area, and we do have some thunderstorms that have been developing, and it's just a reminder that we do have a tornado watch in effect all the way through roughly the midnight hour. I wanted to take you down towards Lee Summit, Greenwood, Pleasant Hill, Harrisonville. This general area in here is still pretty quiet, although we still have these thunderstorms that are bubbling up, particularly out towards Warrensburg and down towards the Urick area. So some thunderstorms are out there, but for the metro at least, nothing is really severe at this point, and that's certainly some welcome news as far as we go here in Kansas City. And just a reminder that here's the scope of that tornado watch, and you can see the more active weather north and east of here. But for the metro, this is a pretty substantial tornado watch. The storms that are out there, though, and Jacob and Alex have been kind of touching on this over the last couple of hours, there are a lot of them, especially around Kansas City, and in a sense, they're all kind of competing with themselves to grab the same instability. The setup for Kansas City right now is not like what's been going on up across northern Missouri. Northern Missouri, there's been a front up there just kind of dangling, and when these thunderstorms came out of northeast Kansas, they were rotating pretty well, and once they moved up into northwest Missouri, they started to produce tornadoes, and they were doing that too across parts of northeast Kansas. For us, though, when you see something like this, I mean, look at all of these storms. There are a bunch of them, and they're not particularly heavy, although they are producing some pretty heavy rains, all right? And it doesn't look nearly as concerning from roughly I-35 north and west. So for you folks up across far northwestern Missouri, hopefully you're done for the day in terms of really nasty storms. For areas north and west from Kansas City to Topeka up towards Atchison, I don't think you're going to get any of these really nasty storms. You're going to get some needed rains, though. We're going to certainly keep an eye out, though, for areas from I-35 south and east, not only over the next several hours, but even into the overnight hours. We're watching some pretty big thunderstorms coming up from the south and west that also have a history of producing tornadoes. So that'll be an area that we kind of focus on down towards the south and west of Kansas City. As far as the metro goes, again, scattered areas of lightning, thunder, obviously, brief heavy rains coming down with some of this stuff. Kansas City, of course, we missed out on all the rain yesterday. Now it's our turn, and this is something that, assuming we could avoid the severe weather situation here in the metro, this is something that's actually kind of welcome. I know it messes up some of your plans on a Saturday night, but the rain is certainly welcome, and we could definitely use it. The areas east of I-35, though, may be a little bit more prone to severe weather chances, especially out towards 65 Highway and up into northeast Missouri, as we've seen over the last several hours. We're watching this complex of thunderstorms. This is all the way down towards Fredonia. There was a tornado there yesterday. This is down towards Yates City. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings for this, but important to note that earlier there were tornado warnings for this same cell that had a long history of producing tornadoes coming out of Oklahoma. Right now, it appears to have weakened to some extent, although it's probably still producing some 60+ mile-an-hour winds and maybe some hail. But this is heading up towards Yates City. I wanted to give a heads up to Garnett. We'll keep an eye on that cell as it gets closer to you. It's due in the Garnett area by about 6:42, Elm by about 6:24, and Iola by about 6:15 or so. So this will be a cell that we watch just because of its history down across Oklahoma and southern Kansas, and as it comes into more instability south and east of the I-35 corridor. And again, around Kansas City right now, things are looking okay in terms of a lack of severe thunderstorms. But again, if you have some evening plans, I would definitely grab an umbrella because we've got some pretty good downpours out there with some lightning and thunder going on at the same time. And we'll continue to monitor the situation up across northern Missouri because it looks like these tornado warnings are kind of getting shoved a little further up towards eastern portions of Mercer County and then getting closer to the Kirksville area. I want to bring in Jacob. He's keeping an eye on those tornado or tornadic cells, I should say, up across north central Missouri. Jacob.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. And once again, you know, this storm nearing that Putnam-Sullivan County line, so it's going to be out of our area soon. But right now near Spickard here, Mercer, Grundy counties, we still have this tornado warning until 6 o'clock. And this is our one tornado warning in the Fox 4 area right now. Up 65 highway, this is about, say, 30 minutes north, 45 minutes north of Chillicothe up here in Spickard. Here's the tornado warning till 6 o'clock. It includes Harris, Myers, Spickard. I think the rotation, though, is now north and east of Tyndall. Still a lot of lightning in this, though, and I'm watching the rotation here pretty closely. It was stronger rotation when this was issued, so it's trended downward a little bit, which is good news. As I zoom in a little bit, we can still kind of query and see exactly how strong the winds are in this storm. 45-mile-per-hour winds to the north there in the red, 20 miles per hour to the south, so maybe 65, 70-mile-per-hour rotation here. If there's a tornado still, it's going to be crossing Highway JJ within the next few minutes, just east of Spickard. By the way, Highway JJ already saw a tornado just about 45 minutes ago. So this is what we talk about, these training thunderstorms going over the same location over and over again. That's what we're seeing right now here in Grundy County up near Spickard. Also with this storm, we are getting some hail with this. We had some penny size hail near Spickard, and I'm still seeing that hail core here on our Fox 4 hail tracker. And when we estimate the hail size, maybe just under severe limits. Severe limits is about a 1 inch or higher when we get those quarter size, just under an inch size hail possible in Spickard north of Tyndall, and that is right up there towards the Grundy and Mercer County line. I also want to continue to keep an eye on our Fox 4 Tornado Predictor. It's our new exclusive product here this spring that we're bringing to you here, that is able to show the trends of storms, if tornadoes are more or less likely as over the next hour. And we're seeing low to medium threats, mainly moving away from our area up into Sullivan and Putnam counties. A wider view of this tornado predictor also hinting at things down towards the south. And this is the storm that Joe was just showing you, south and west of Garnett. There's a severe thunderstorm watch for Wilson and Woodson counties, Kansas. But as it moves towards Anderson County, right now our tornado predictor is saying there's a medium chance for a new tornado circulation, at least, to try to form in this storm as it moves into our southwest counties. So that's a trend we'll have to keep an eye on here over the next several hours as we head into this evening, which, by the way, is why our tornado watch here has been issued for the entire Kansas City metro. We've kind of been piecemealed with the watches all day. Now everyone is under a watch until midnight. So the entire Kansas City metro, everyone south of I-70, everyone north of I-70, this tornado watch goes until midnight. But Joe, I think really, as you were showing kind of the state line I-35 south and east, probably the better chance for storms.
Yeah, this situation for the metro, you know, hopefully, knock on, tabletop. Hopefully we're going to avoid the worst of the severe weather. There is another aspect of this whole thing that we do need to talk about, and that's the concern about locally heavy rains. And that may lead, believe it or not, after all the dry weather that many of us have been experiencing over the last month or so, that may lead to some flash flooding, and that is definitely a growing concern as we head through the evening and into the overnight hours. And again, as Jacob just reminded you, that tornado watch continues, although they're starting to peel back some of these counties. I just noticed this update coming out of Topeka. There are also some strong winds. Remember those strong winds that we had on the backside of the thunderstorms a couple of days ago when we had those 60, 65 mile an hour winds on the north side knocking down some trees? They're going through that right now out towards Topeka. They've been reporting some 50, 60 mile an hour winds between Manhattan and Topeka, maybe even something a little stronger than that. I don't think those strong winds are going to penetrate and move all the way eastbound towards Kansas City, but we'll keep an eye on that. That's actually not even connected to the thunderstorms. But again, you could see that the vast majority, if not all of the metro, is right now under a tornado watch until roughly the midnight hours. So that's something else that we'll be paying attention to here over the next couple of hours. Our tornado predictor that goes out for 3 hours time. This is just kind of rough guidance that we're sharing with you right now, indicating that that cell that's down there towards south central Kansas, southeastern Kansas, south of Burlington, that's got the history of producing tornadoes in Oklahoma and southern Kansas, and it is tracking towards the north and east. So our 3-hour tornado predictor is indicating some low chances of something a little bit more concerning down towards Harrisonville, Garnett, into Lynn County, maybe around Paola down towards Miami County as well. Notice the lower chances, particularly from I-35 north and west. That's what we were highlighting for you just a little while ago. It looks like, I'm hoping, that the vast majority of the metro may skate through this next concern about severe weather in pretty fine form. We'll keep our fingers crossed about that. Meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on all of these cells that are out there, that's for sure. And as I mentioned a little while ago, when you see something like this, there are just so many cells fighting for each other. This activity, if you notice out towards Topeka, Atchison, Leavenworth County, north and west of I-35 into Franklin County and down towards Osage County, that's all just general soaking rains. All right, I'm not worried about severe weather with that. I'm not as concerned about severe weather with these storms. We'll have to watch these, though, kind of carefully in case they start cranking up just a little bit more as they move off towards the north and east. And then this area out here we'll have to monitor a little more closely, all right, because notice how it's separated from the main band. So these cells are out there sort of on their own right now. So again, that'll be an area that we watch out towards Highway 50, down 65, Johnson County on the Missouri side, Pettis County, over towards Saline County, Carroll County, Lafayette County, this general area, especially these cells that are heading towards Brookfield. So again, for the metro, thunderstorms out there, locally heavy rains from Parkville down towards DeSoto, Olathe, around Spring Hill, over towards Baldwin City, down towards Ottawa, other cells around Plattsburgh, down towards and near Smithville Lake. I think for the most part, we got in the Brewfest up in Parkville just before the real heavy rains came. I think that was ending at around 5 o'clock. Yeah, that's about the time the worst of the weather started to move in. So props to them. They snuck it in, I think, before the real nasty storms hit. Boy, talk about timing. Let's keep an eye on that Buckner cell. Yeah. All right, again, it's kind of ahead of the main little area that is a concern as we're kind of watching the rains come into the metro. An update on that one cell that we've been tracking, that's got the history of producing tornadoes in southern Kansas, still heading towards the Garnett area by about 6:30, 6:45 or so. And I wanted to also show you what our models are suggesting for rainfall. And this is important because a lot of this may come overnight tonight. This is concerning, particularly for areas southeast of Kansas City. We could probably handle 1 to 3 inches of rain here in the metro without too many problems. But for areas out towards Odessa, Warrensburg, Sedalia, Clinton, Warsaw, Butler, Harrisonville, Pleasanton, I'm a little worried about this 2 to 5 inch swath of rain that's probably going to come mostly late tonight or later on this evening into the overnight hours. That could be some flash flooding at night, and we'll also have to kind of concern ourselves with the potential of some stronger storms down here as well during the evening and overnight hours. So we're not done yet with severe weather, obviously, here in the viewing area. Hopefully for the metro, this isn't as big of a deal. It's just rain for us. But for areas up to our north, tornado warnings, I believe, continue. Let's go get over to Jacob with an update on those. Jacob?
Yeah, Joe, so we still have this one tornado warning up here, Grundy, Mercer counties. It only goes until 6 o'clock. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of get this out of our area pretty soon. We've just had a lot of pesky rotation up here near Spickard. That's this red flashing polygon here. Again, it lasts for only about 5 more minutes. The rotation was near Tyndall when it was issued. There's still a lot of lightning in this. The rotation, though, is pretty much vanished in my purview here. When we look back here at the velocity, our wind mode earlier, we can kind of see there was the storm right there that triggered it. Near Spickard, we can see kind of the greens and reds, maybe a little brighter there. But as it goes kind of forward, we really lose those bright colors, and I'm not really seeing much rotation at all anymore. So I think the National Weather Service is going to let this expire here at 6 o'clock. The storm is probably going to track up towards Putnam County, where this tornado warning is ongoing. So we still have this warning, but we're watching other storms too, because we've seen this in this rotational environment. These storms are trying to rotate. An interesting, almost U-shape to this storm. There's still some inflow reaching this, so it may try to reform as it moves across the county line out of Grundy County. Still, though, this is moving away from Tyndall, away from Spickard, and our severe weather threat for Spickard, or the immediate tornado threat, is probably down near zero. So we're still watching for other areas of rotation. Joe was keeping an eye on that one out in Jackson County. There's broad rotation in this storm south of Chillicothe. On our wind mode, when you look at the radar mode, it's a little messier, so that's good news. But you know, these are the type of trends we have to look for in this environment here this afternoon ahead of this cell. A little bit of a kidney shape there in northern Carroll County. So these ahead of the line storms, none of them yet have produced or tried to become severe, produced tornadoes, but it's not out of the question that we have that potential. So we're still watching this tornado up towards the north near Spickard, potential tornado warning. But overall, that is not very strong, and it has certainly weakened in the last couple of scans, Joe. So that's an improving trend that we're seeing in northern Missouri.
Yeah, absolutely so. And we're going to wrap up our coverage on the assumption no more tornado warnings come up here in just about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Just to reiterate, those severe thunderstorm warnings continue for parts of Grundy, Mercer County, Putnam, and Sullivan. Those two counties are sort of out of our viewing area, but just a heads up for Green City, Princeton, Unionville, roughly about 6,000 people. That storm that Jacob's been talking about, no reports of any touchdowns or tornadoes lately, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on that. Meanwhile, a little closer to Kansas City, Davies, Grundy, Livingston, parts of those counties, including Gallatin, Jamesport, Madison, and Trenton, under severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's going to go for about another half hour or so. So again, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings north and east of here. You can see those two counties highlighting for you up towards Davies County. The area in general is under a tornado watch until roughly the midnight hour. Again, our concern right now seems to be a little bit more towards and east of I-35. So if you live north and west of I-35, our concerns are not quite as high for you right now in terms of severe weather, but it's something that we'll certainly monitor because you probably are going to see some locally heavy rains. Again, our 3-hour tornado predictor is still throwing out some probabilities from Harrisonville to Butler to Garnett to Mapleton down into Lynn County and points southward. That's something we'll watch for the next several hours. But overall, right now, there's really nothing concerning in terms of severe weather that's out there that's heading towards the heart of Kansas City. This is just garden variety thunderstorm activity with some good soaking rains that are coming down, maybe a little too hard in some places. But again, this is just good old rains moving on through. Some pretty good cracks of thunder, some pretty vivid lightning. You might get some pretty cool looking clouds. But at this point, nothing overly concerning. We'll keep an eye on that cell north of Carrollton as it heads towards Brookfield. But even some of the warnings down to our south have transitioned from tornado warnings over towards severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's good. So a big shout out to the team. Alex and Jacob today have been providing essentially continuous coverage since about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon on top of all the coverage we had last night. Let's send you to programming. Hopefully we don't see you again until later on this evening.